It's the country music you know, the country you love. Real Country 105.5 KD Country.
Hi, folks. I'm Adam.
And I'm Tony. We're your hosts for the Big Bluegrass Bonanza every Sunday night, 7 to 9 p.m. right here on 105.5 KD Country and at kdcountry.com. You'll hear some of the biggest names in bluegrass from yesterday and today. We'll also be featuring local bands as well.
The Big Bluegrass Bonanza is sponsored by Williams Body Shop, Webb Tire Company, CarQuest, Robinson Funeral Home, The Prospect Diner, Appomattox Outdoor Equipment, Sound Hall Studios, all in Appomattox, and B&L Carpet and Tile in Halifax.
A short drive will save you money.
Buying a car at Feller Chevrolet has never been a hassle, but during our no-hassle sale, it's even easier. All new and used vehicles are priced and marked with rock-bottom prices on the lot and on the web. To make car shopping as easy as 1, 2, 3. 1. Come to Feller Chevrolet in Altavista or go to fellersdirect.com. 2. Pick the vehicle that fits your budget. 3. Drive it home today. No pressure, no hassle.
A short drive will save you money. Feller Chevrolet in Altavista.
Live from Nelson County High School, it's time once again for Colonels basketball. The Altavista Colonels on 105.5. I'm Kyle Hoehne with my tag team partner Oscar Briggs. And Oscar, you and Bob were on the call last night. 1-point loss for the Altavista Colonels against the Dan River Wildcats, and another classic between those two teams. You know, the last 5 years, those have been the two big dogs really in the area, not just the Dogwood District.
Well, you're absolutely right, and it was a great ball game last night, early in the season for both of those teams. Again, Dan River came in 9-0, ended up being a 1-point game. Biggest separation was 7 points. Dan River had a 7-point lead, and then Altavista went up by, I think, 4. But again, a great ball game, very physical. It'll be interesting to see how the Colonels rebound tonight.
Yeah, and we'll maybe get a full recap of that later on. I'll let you handle that since you were there. I listened to you and Bob. Outstanding as always. And the Subway pregame show, always outstanding. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Subway. $5 footlong specials all month long in January. Pretty much everything's on the $5 footlong special. So swing on by, and as we always say, it's more than just subs. You know, it's the pizza, it's the soup. It's the salad. You and Bob always make fun of me on the salad, but, I mean, come on, who doesn't like to eat healthy every now and then?
Well, that's right, and it's not only the food, but the customer service.
Right.
Boy, again, you just can't beat it. And again, it's genuine, easy for me to say.
Yes, I know, yeah.
And so any foot-long sub is $5. You can't go wrong.
I think last year was February, and I screwed up February like pretty much the entire month long, but I'm glad you screwed it up one time. Hopefully Altavista Colonels can get back on the winning track tonight. Bob Alvis got a chance to catch up with head coach Mike Cardellaro. We'll hear from him and so much more when we come back on the Subway pregame show. It's the Nelson County Governors hosting the Altavista Colonels, and it's on 105.5 KD Country.
Don't you think it's time that your business account made you money? I'm Marion Marshall with First National Bank, and we've introduced a small business interest checking account that earns your business interest. That's right, interest. So for a progressive small business checking account, come to First National Bank today. We'll show how your business account will earn interest, and we'll provide you with an extraordinary customer experience. First National Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
The following is brought to you by English Construction Company.
There's just one place where students are students first, and athletics are played with purpose and perspective. That place is your local high school. High school sports offer more than the joy of competition. Studies show that student athletes in Virginia are also likely to enjoy greater levels of achievement in other areas of their lives, including academics. High school sports, a winning part of a complete education.
In the past century, our community has grown, and Finch & Finch Funeral and Cremation Service has grown too, alongside the families they've known for so long. Finch & Finch is proud to have served you over 100 years. A family business, Finch & Finch Funeral and Cremation Service, dedicated to your service.
Finch & Finch Funeral Homes. We're here because we care.
You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country. Altavista right back at it against Nelson County in Livingston, talking to the head coach, Mike Cardallero. Obviously, tough loss. Would you rather have the day of practice? I know you can't really choose now, but...
Well, we actually had a couple of days of practice, and it was an extremely physical ball game, and we came up a little bit short. Now, obviously, the fans enjoyed the game, but it was very disappointing.
First quarter, I thought, went pretty well with the Johnsons, especially. I thought the Johnsons really got on the glass, and you guys got on the glass. What did you see early on that you liked?
Well, they did, and we got it inside and scored. Second half, we didn't for a couple of reasons. One, we didn't have a very good flow going, so we got away from the post game, and we're in foul trouble too. And fatigue was a factor. They're ahead of us, probably a month ahead of us. I think the fatigue and the intensity of the game was part of that too.
And I know you never like to lose, but you're playing a team that's very quality, that's going to be there towards the end. I mean, can you take any solace at all in that? You're playing the best people you can find, not Ringgold homeschoolers.
Oh yeah, I mean, they're 10-0, and I guess ranked very high as a AA team. Yeah, I mean that team should probably be in Richmond, I would think, in a couple of months. And it's tough to lose. We lost 2 tough games to 2 playoff teams. I think the biggest thing for us, Bob, is we got to get a focus about us. We got to forget about things in the past. Other than we got to come out hungry and play. And that was a message before last night's game. Is this is going to be a very hungry Dan River team to beat us for a number of reasons.
Even though you got depth, you don't want to see one get gimpy in the first 30 seconds or so of the game. Did you think he played okay? I mean, obviously he wasn't 100%, but I mean, is he going to be good for tonight?
We don't know that. He gutted it last night. He turned that thing pretty good. It was a lot worse than the first time he turned it. And he warrior status. He went out there and played with it, and managed to do some things probably the average person couldn't do. But not quite sure tonight. We'll see.
You will get to see these guys again, but Nelson County tonight, what worries you about the Governors?
Well, anytime we go up there, it's just last year's maybe the best game we've played up there in a long time. We got to get back up and pick ourselves back up and play. Probably the biggest thing that worries me about Nelson is last night's game with Dan River. Mm-hmm. It's a tough way to go down. And we got to get our heads back and focus and try to win one on the road.
Are you worried about the guys picking themselves back up, though?
Yeah, I am. This group is a unique group in that they've had a lot of success, in multiple sports. But right now, those things are over with. And we got a big target on us, and we got to be focused. And that's probably the biggest part of what we've been telling them the last 2 days.
And before we get to shout-outs, talking about the depth on the bench, though, Walker Allen comes out, hits 2 good threes, and they were timely.
Yeah, well, I mean, Walker and Josh gave us great minutes, and you're talking about two kids that are, moved up from a JV team, a freshman and a sophomore, and we got quality minutes out of them, so that's definitely a positive for us down the road.
Shout-outs.
Okay. All right, Thursday night shout-outs go to my dad, as always, listening in Buena Vista, just across the mountain, and the Florida clan of Minnie and Billy in Orlando. I know they are listening in. The Manassas group, Micah, Heather, Miranda, McKinley, Little Micah, Sarah Swanson always, and all the Colonel fans out there, come and see us. It's a group that's going to get better.
And finally, if you saw the schedule, you might have thought the Nelson game was Friday. It is Thursday, and Saturday, the game against Stewart's Draft is going to be a little bit up from, I think, the original schedule an hour earlier.
Yeah, they moved it up an hour, so we're actually playing Stewart's Draft at 3:15 on Saturday. At Rockbridge High School.
At Rockbridge, so coaching
in Lexington.
Right, it'll almost be like a homecoming for you. Enjoy tonight, enjoy that one, and we'll talk to you soon.
Okay, thanks, Bob.
Mike Cardallero on the Subway pregame show. More after this on 105.5 KD Country.
Music you know and country you love. 105.5 KD Country, WKDE, Altavista, Lynchburg. Your home for true country.
Stay cool in the summer and warm in the winter. Tyree Little's Heating and Cooling, on the ready to keep you comfortable year-round. Locally owned and operated, just a call away, with over 20 years experience. Licensed and bonded. Tyree Little's Heating and Cooling, specializing in heating, air, plumbing, and electrical. Any season, anytime. Tyree Little's Heating and Cooling, keeping you cool in the summer and warm in the winter. Give them a call today. Tyree Little's Heating and Cooling, Gretna.
This week's specials from your Apple Market convenience stores. Pepsi, Mountain Dew, Dr. Pepper, 2 liters, 2 for $3. 5-hour energy drinks, now 2 for $5. Delicious chicken tender biscuits, 2 for $2.49. And be sure to try Apple Market's new roller grill products featuring Johnsonville brass. Apple Market locations, Riverside, Gateway, and Main Street in Altavista. You know what they say, an apple a day.
High school athletics builds character, teaches teamwork, and provides a solid foundation for life. PCM Industrial Services recognizes the importance of high school athletics by sponsoring this sports broadcast for your enjoyment. PCM Industrial Services encourages everyone to come on out and watch the game. It's a great time for the whole family. Cheer on the Colonels. PCM Industrial Services, the industrial maintenance and construction specialists, serving the Mid-Atlantic region with quality craftsmen since 1986. Good luck, Colonels.
You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
Subway pregame show returns from Nelson County High School. First road trip of the year, Oscar, for the Altavista Colonels. First road trip of the basketball season for KD Country, and always fun to come up here to Nelson, and we get to use our tie line equipment. So hopefully we're sounding pretty good on your radio dial, or if you're listening at kdcountry.com. I guess the first thing we need to discuss, well, we've discussed a few things, but the next thing we need to discuss is the injury situation for the Colonels, because we just found out from Coach Carvalero that Juan Thornhill going to be unavailable to go tonight. He's out there warming up right now. I guess they just wanted to see how it felt, but no point in risking it, especially early in the season. You don't want to make it worse.
No, that's right. Juan tweaked his ankle in the first quarter of last night's game against Dan River. He did it early. Less than a minute gone by, and he in and out of the gym, back in the hallway, trying to get it loose. Angela Emerson tended to it, taped it. He did come back and play late in the first quarter and played the remainder of the game, but he wasn't 100%. It was easy to see that. And he did come out and test it tonight. Juan wanted to go, but discretion the better part of valor here. And with 3 games in 4 days, Coach Carvalero, I think, and Juan decided it's in his best interest not to play tonight.
Yeah, and sometimes with those ankle injuries, maybe you start favoring a little bit, so you put more weight on something else, or it puts more stress on the knee. So really no point in risking it if the ankle's not 100% or close to 100%. And sometimes it's just that tape job too. Sometimes it might hurt when you're walking around at home, but you get the tape on it and it feels better. Maybe that wasn't the case here tonight. Maybe Juan thought it was going to feel better in warm-ups than it did. And I will say this. Never say never. I mean, he's still in uniform. I don't think Coach Carvalero would go to him. I think if he's out, he's out. But I'm just saying, sometimes the old Kirk Gibson happens sometimes, too, where somebody thinks they can't go, but all of a sudden the fourth quarter rolls around and they can.
And I was just over the scores table. He is on the roster. He is eligible to play. So if something were to happen and he'd be called into service, they could do that. But, again, I think, long term, 3 games in 4 days is just, again, better that he doesn't play.
Yeah, I think we will not be seeing Mr. Juan Thornhill tonight. We will be seeing a bunch of other players for the Colonels, and 2 guys that are going to feature, as they always do, the brothers Johnson, as we affectionately call them, Darius and Demetrius. Talk a little bit about last night, because, again, I listened to most of it, didn't listen to all of it, and maybe some of the other fans are in the same boat as me. Johnson brothers had a great first half, and then foul trouble sort of got them in trouble in the second half and really limited their production.
Well, it did, and both of them had very solid games. Dominated the glass in the first half. The second half, not so much. Dan River made some nice adjustments. They're strong on the inside as well with both Tyleek and Terrell Edmonds. And, it was a very, very physical game. Officials did a good job of letting them play, not letting it get out of hand. Very physical. Between 2 very, very closely matched teams. I think if you throw them in a hat and they play 10 times, it's probably 5-5.
Yeah, Dan River, again, always a great ball club. And you mentioned they've got the size, probably one of the biggest teams around, not to mention the fact that they're tall. They're quick, too. That defense, they really get after you, and I think that's part of the reason why the Colonels were only able to muster up 47 points last night. Held Dan River to 48, but come up 1 point short. And I think we're going to see another spirited defensive effort here tonight at Nelson County as well.
Well, as we were talking to Coach Carvalero before the game, the intricacies of the new conference lineup and the implications of who you play and the point system. You get more points for playing a AA school.
Yeah.
All of that's going to plays into account, and every game is important, just like tonight. Although Nelson is not in the new Conference 44 or whatever, it really doesn't matter. It's still just as important as any game the Colonels play all year.
Yeah, you're right. It's going to be the same points. Well, not exactly the same, because Nelson's Division I, Dan River last night Division II, so there is that little subtlety there. But beating Nelson's going to be the same way as beating William Campbell, even though Nelson and William Campbell not in the same conference. Altavista is in the same conference with William Campbell. But we'll have plenty of time to touch on all that stuff later. And you mentioned the intricacies. It is very intricate, and I think even the athletic directors and the coaches still trying to figure out how some of the new stuff works in the new VHSL setup.
I bet you Bob Alvis has got it figured out.
Bob Alvis has got it down to a science, I think. Unfortunately, he's not here, but he might be listening. Maybe he'll send us a text or phone in and explain some of it to us. It is a Subway pregame show. Subway, eat fresh, 2 great locations in Altavista. Main Street, and also in Walmart on the Clarion Road there in Altavista. Easy for me to say. One more time out here on the Subway pregame show, then we're back with a tip-off. About 5 minutes away here from Nelson County. Altavista Colonels in town, and you're hearing it all on 105.5 KD Country.
You can buy paint from any old yahoo who knows nothing about paint in one of those big box stores. For quality paint from people who really know paint, it's Davis Paints from your complete home center, English's. Davis Paints, which has been known for quality since 1921, is not just sold anywhere. Visit the new paint room at English's, your authorized Davis Paint dealer.
English's is your complete home center.
On North Main Street, Altavista.
Good food, low prices, and great service keeps customers coming back for more day after day at El Cazador Mexican Restaurant in Altavista. El Cazador is now open all afternoon, so you can buy anytime, any day. El Cazador Mexican Restaurant, a great place to unwind and relax with friends. Open 7 days a week, Main Street, Altavista. El Cazador, the happiest place in town. Thanks for your business in making them the #1 Mexican restaurant in town.
A short drive will save you money.
That's right. A short drive can save you hundreds, maybe thousands. The absolute best selection of new and pre-owned vehicles to choose from. Have a trade? When you make a deal, Feller Chevrolet will pay it off, no matter how much you owe. Slow credit? Don't worry. Drive away today in your new or pre-owned vehicle. Remember, if you didn't purchase your vehicle from Feller Chevrolet, you paid too much for it.
Feller Chevrolet in Altavista.
You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
Nelson County, Altavista, get ready to tip it off here. This is the Subway pregame show, final segment of the Subway pregame show on 105.5 KD Country. And since we got a minute here before the national anthem, let's tell you about the people that bring this fine basketball game. PCM Industrial Maintenance and Construction Specialists. Since their founding in 1986, First National Bank focused on providing an extraordinary customer experience. Apple Market, serving you from 3 area locations in Altavista. Tyree Little Heating and Cooling, keeping you cool in the summer, warm in the winter, and comfortable in between. English Construction Company, wishing our high school athletes an exciting and injury-free game. Feller Chevrolet, a short drive will save you money. El Cazador Mexican Restaurant, the happiest place in town. English's, your complete home center. Davis Paint Headquarters, and Finch & Finch Funeral and Cremation Services, a family serving families since 1905. Of course, our live broadcast on the internet, as always, brought to you by Walmart on the Clarion Road in Altavista. Anytime you listen to kdcountry.com, whether it's to us or the great country music, or perhaps the Bluegrass Bonanza that comes on Sundays now, Oscar, you can thank Walmart and Altavista for that. And also, if you ever listen to the YouTube rebroadcast on our YouTube page, you can thank Feller Chevrolet. A short drive will save you money. This is the Subway pregame show. Colonel's JV squad gets another victory tonight, so Troy Harris's group keeps on rolling. I want to say it was 45-33, somewhere in that range, 11, 12-point victory for the JV Colonels. And Troy Harris and his lovely bride, they're music fans, Oscar.
They are.
They've got full range of motion out there.
Yes, they do.
Inside joke, starters being announced there for the Altavista Colonels, Oscar.
First for Nelson County, they're going to start with 0 Kelly Kirby and number 1 Dre Brown. Joining them in the front court, they'll have Najee Taylor, number 4 Brandon Gray, and in the post they'll have number 44 Tony Barnett. For the Colonels, with a different lineup tonight, starting in the backcourt, you'll have number 1 Michi Malbeck. He'll be joined by number 4 Navy Jones. As always, or usual, Coach Carlero going with 3-guard setup. Richard Hubbard will be number 12. Will join them, those three in the backcourt. And up front, you'll have the brothers Johnson, number 5, Demetrius, and number 10, Darius.
Yeah, you know, the 3 guards in the backcourt, they're pretty impressive. The 2 forwards in the front court, equally impressive. And Nelson County's got a bunch of guys that have been around as well. Normally I call you Agent Zero, but I have to put that nickname on hold because Kelly Kirby is number 0. So from now on, I'll just refer to Oscar as the Big O.
Or you could call Oscar the voice of the Colonels.
The voice of the Colonels, Oscar Briggs. And I believe we're about ready for the national anthem. It looks like we are. We'll step aside, take a 60-second timeout, and be back with the tip-off here on 105.5 KD Country.
Tonight's game is brought to you by the KD Country Sports Club.
Tyree Little Heating and Cooling in Gretna, keeping you cool in the summer and warm in the winter and comfortable in between.
Sharky's Pest Control. Let Tony take a bite out of your pest control needs. Doing business the old-fashioned way.
Main Street Trading Company Consignment, now open Wednesday through Friday, 11 a.m. till 6 p.m. and Saturday, 9 a.m. till 4.
El Cerrito Mexican Restaurant, Altavista. Throw on a sombrero, shake your maracas. It's El Cerrito time. Authentic Mexican cuisine only at El Cerrito.
Steve Farmer Auto Sales, where there's always a good selection of cars, trucks, SUVs, priced right, financing available. That's Steve Farmer Auto Sales, Main Street, Altavista.
Have you looked at your business banking fees lately? I'm Sean Stone with First National Bank, and we have the best business accounts which offer serious savings for your company. We have a full menu of business products from checking accounts and remote deposit capture to online banking. And we have a local merchant card representative who will customize services just for your business. So let First National Bank prepare an analysis of your current activity and show how we will reduce your banking fees. First National Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
National anthem concluding here from Nelson County High School. Pre-recorded version there, Oscar. It sounded like something the Nelson County Marching Governors could have done, but
certainly a different rendition. Very nicely done.
Very nicely done. A little longer. Caught us off guard just a hair, but
did run a little bit longer than what we used to, probably about 30 seconds.
That's all right. If you can't honor your country, you know, with a long version of the national anthem, what can you do?
That was beautiful.
It really was, and we are all set for basketball here. Decent crowd from Nelson County High School. I don't know, gym maybe 50% full. And this is always one of those loud gyms. Our new technology in recent years has allowed us to defeat some of that noise level, but you'll probably still hear some of it come through on your radio there. Colonel's sporting the brand new road jerseys, and as I mentioned, it is their first road game of the year, so these are a little different look. Solid black mainly with just orange trim, not really any white anywhere on that jersey except maybe for the Nike logo. And it really is a good look. All the guys have black shoes and black socks as well. Nelson County in the home whites with the green and yellow trim. Yellow numbers. And most of the guys on their squad sporting green high-top shoes. There's the tip. Darius Johnson smacks it over to his brother Demetrius in the backcourt, and the Altavista Colonels will control. Just seconds into the basketball game here. 0-0. Navy Jones running the point guard spot for the Colonels. Looks like a man-to-man defense for Nelson. They swing it over to Michi Mall back on the left wing. Bounce pass over to Richard Hubbard. Hubbard surveying the defense. Now gets it to Demetrius at the foul line. Demetrius lost it momentarily. Colonels get it back. Lob pass underneath the brother Darius. He's fouled, and he'll go to the free throw line and shoot a pair. Early scoring opportunity for the Altavista Colonels. Foul was on. Hard to see.
Looks like they're going to call it on Dre Brown.
Okay. Brown is one of those seniors. Kirby is a senior. 4 other seniors on the squad as well. First free throw up and in for Darius Johnson. 1-0 lead early for the Colonels. 7:37 to play here in the Apple Market. First quarter. Second one on the way, and it's perfect. 2-0 lead for the Colonels. Good job capitalizing there from the free throw line early by Darius Johnson. Bad pass getting knocked around. Nelson County's going to get it back. No, they're not. Navy Jones takes it away. Left-hand dribble coming around by us. We're down on the floor here at our table in the left-hand corner, Oscar.
And the Colonels picked up full court that time, put a little pressure on Nelson. I think it caught him off guard.
I think you're right. Nelson with the errant pass there, and Altavista comes away with the turnover. Davy Jones has it back. Top of the key, about 35 feet away. Now over to Richard Hubbard, left wing in front of the Nelson County bench. They swing it back around to Davy Jones. Jones holds it over his head. Looking inside, Demetrius Johnson running the baseline. Darius going to take a pull-up jumper. No good. Rebound is loose. Picked up by Demetrius Johnson. The rebound. They're going to say he got fouled on the floor. And we'll see who this foul goes against. Looks like it's against number 1, Dre Brown. That would be his second. And that's 2 early fouls for Brown, 2 team fouls for Nelson County. They don't put the number up on the board, so we'll have to try and be diligent about seeing who the hands get held up by the referee.
Well, and he was battling with Darius and Demetrius both down low, but that time it was Demetrius that drew the foul.
Yeah, 2 early fouls for Dre Brown and Nelson County. He'll stay in the basketball game. Nelson County's got some size. Tony Barnett, 6'4", and he's a big body inside there. Ball knocked loose. It's going to be picked up by Nelson County on the turnover. Here comes Brandon Gray. Gray slicing through the defense. Now he'll pull up. Guarded closely by Richard Hubbard. Hubbard really providing some tight defense. Now he passes it over to Najee Taylor. Taylor picks up his dribble, gets it over to Brown. Now it's taken away by Hubbard. Hubbard's down on the floor. Big scrum for it. Everybody jumps around, and it's a jump ball as everybody hits the deck, I should say, not jumping around.
Boy, nice job by defense nice job by the Colonels on defense there. They were in all the passing lanes, contesting every pass, not letting Nelson County penetrate at all.
Yeah, when you bring Navy Jones in, you bring in some really instant defense. He's quick, and he is a great defender all the way around in the man-to-man defense that Altavista employs. 6:24 left, 2-0 lead for the Altavista Colonels. Nelson County basketball. Kirby dribbles with his right hand, now switches over to his left. He's guarded tightly by Navy Jones. That's actually Najee Taylor again. Taylor picks up his dribble and takes an extra step, so it'll go as a turnover. Basketball going back to the Colonels.
And you got to credit Navy Jones for that. He was all over and gave him no room and forced that turnover. Nice job by defense from Navy.
Solid stuff from the other 4 guys as well. On the court right now, the starters for Altavista, Navy Jones, Richard Hubbard, Michi Malbeck, and both Johnson brothers, Darius and Demetrius. Darius has the basketball, right-hand dribble, 15 feet away, right on the foul line. Now he gets it back again after a pass to Hubbard. Hubbard looking inside at Demetrius Johnson. Johnson's got in the low block, getting fouled, getting hammered. No whistles just yet. Goes up, count the bucket, and they do call the foul later on. Demetrius with the 2 points and a chance to make it a 3-point play after the foul.
And, again, could not tell who that foul was on.
It's going to be tough all night. The scorer's table is opposite from us. So when the official goes over to give the signal to him, sometimes it's hard for us to see because there's a bunch of guys in between. Darius Johnson, free throw, up in the air. Front iron, no good. Rebound is still loose. Darius was battling for it. Now basketball loose again, back over to Navy Jones. Jones to Darius Johnson. Johnson up off the glass and in for 2 more points. Colonels come away with a scramble play there on the loose ball. Nelson County going quick, and they throw it away. Governors thought maybe it got tipped by Altavista, but it'll go back to the Colonels. Colonels a 6-0 lead early.
It was tipped by Altavista, but the last person to touch it was from Nelson County. Nelson tried to take advantage of the press and go over the top. It's tough to go over the top of this Altavista defense.
Yeah, it really is. A lot of size, a lot of speed as well. Navy Jones, left-hand dribble, over to Hubbard on the left wing. Hubbard trying to direct traffic, even though he doesn't exactly have the basketball.
Colonels lead 6-0, 5:22 here in the first quarter.
Hubbard cycles it around the right side of court. Now coming back to the left. He's bumped to the floor. Hit hard. It'll pop up. Nothing malicious or intentional there. But the foul will be on Nelson County. It's their 4th team foul. None on the Altavista Colonels just yet. 5:17 to play here in the Apple Market first quarter. 6-0 lead for the Colonels. Michi Malbeck inbounds to Navy Jones. Navy trying to slash through the defense, and he is fouled. I think this one's going to be on number 0, Kelly Kirby. Some of the fouls are going to be obvious. Some of them aren't going to be.
5 fouls here on Nelson, Kyle, 5 fouls here in the first 3 minutes. Colonels lead 6-0. No fouls against the Colonels. The Colonels are going to find themselves shooting a 1-and-1 here for a large part of the half if this continues.
Pretty incredible. If there's time of possession in basketball, it would favor the Altavista Colonels greatly. Nelson has not had the basketball much. That's part of the reason why Altavista hasn't committed any fouls against the Governors. Colonel basketball on the road, black jerseys. Darius Johnson has it in 3-point land. Right-hand dribble. Nobody guarding him tightly. He gets a chance to look over that D. Michi Malbeck has it right in front of the Nelson bench. Slashing. Thought about a pull-up jumper. Now gets it over to Darius. He'll do the same. Shot up. No good. Rebounded by Kelly Kirby. Here come the Governors going the other way. They want to go quick again. Taylor driving to the basket. Blocked by Darius Johnson, but they're going to call a foul on Navy Jones, who hit the deck. Navy tried to take the charge. Darius tried to go for the block. And the Colonels will get whistled for the foul.
Yeah, Navy was set. I don't know if he didn't give him room to come down or what the call was, but Navy was in position and he was locked. So
Najee Taylor on the free throw line. Best scoring chance of the night so far for the Nelson County Governors. They trail by 6. They have not scored yet. Free throw up and no good. So it's still 6-0 Colonels. In the Apple Market first quarter, 3 great locations to serve you in Altavista: Main Street, Gateway, and Riverside. Second free throw on the way from Taylor. And that one is good. 6-1 is the Colonel lead now. Taylor, a 5'11 junior for the Nelson County Governors. Davy Jones bringing the basketball up for Altavista. Gets the signal from Mike Cardellaro on the bench. Right-hand dribble to initiate. Now gets it over to Demetrius Johnson. In the corner to Michi Malback. 3 ball up. 3 ball good for Michi Malback. 9-1 is your Altavista Colonel lead now after the 3-point play.
Great to see Michi knock down that 3. If the Colonels had an issue last night, it was with the outside shot. 1 for 1 here tonight from the outside.
Good stuff from Michi Malback there on the set play. Nelson County basketball. Again, very good man-to-man defense right now from the Altavista Colonels. Navy Jones guarding Najee Taylor. Taylor trying to get by him with the right hand. Now gets it in the corner to Kelly Kirby. Kirby puts up the jumper. No good. That was Brandon Gray, actually. It's rebounded by Darius Johnson. Darius outlet pass to Michi Malback. Malback weaving his way to the defense. Bounce pass to Hubbard, and Hubbard converts the layup. Good stuff there. So good. Coach Brandon Garrett for the Governors wants a timeout. We'll take it as well. 3:45 to play in the first. Colonels up by 10, 11-1 on 105.5 KD Country.
The following is brought to you by English Construction Company.
What do basketball, choir, drama club, and marching band all have in common? They're all high school activities that offer learning opportunities not necessarily found in the classroom. They take up just a fraction of a typical Virginia high school's budget, and they go a long way to giving young people the tools they need to thrive. High school activities, they're more than extracurricular. They're extra important, too.
You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
It's an 11-1 Colonel lead from Nelson County, Oscar. 3:45 to play in the first. Can't blame Brandon Garrett for taking the timeout there for Nelson.
No, that was a nice play. It came down 2-on-1. Michi drew the defender to him. Nice bounce pass to Richard to convert.
Nelson County coming the other way after the timeout in the inbounds. Kelly Kirby picks up his dribble. He was guarded tightly by Malback. A little bit of contact there. Gray slashing to the basket. No good, but he will get fouled, and it looks like he's going to go to the free throw line. And Kirby and Michi Malback had a battle going on there. Michi was guarding him tightly, and Kirby came through with the elbow. Now the officials having a discussion with both of them. I don't think Kirby's elbow was intentional, but, boy, anytime you get knocked in the face with an elbow, you're going to take offense to it, I would think.
Yeah, the officials did a good job. The official did a good job of getting them together and talking through that. And as the official went to go talk to Coach Cardellaro, the two players continued to have a conversation.
Yeah, I don't know if they were discussing the recent weather patterns we've been having or not. First free throw, no good from Brandon Gray. Second one on the way. 3:31 to play in the Apple Market first quarter. 11-1 is the Colonel lead. Substitute getting ready to check in for Nelson County, the next dead ball. Free throw up, no good. Nice rebound by Demetrius Johnson coming across the lane to grab that one. And he gets it over to Richard Hubbard, who'll swing it ahead to Navy Jones. Jones looking to facilitate the offense. Now to Demetrius Johnson. Johnson halfway thought about a 3. Now we got an offensive foul going the other way. They're going to call Darius Johnson with the clear out on offense. That foul is on the Colonels. Their second team foul, first one on Darius.
And Darius and Demetrius are going to have to adjust. The officials in the game last night let Altavista, let Dan River fight for those post positions. It's apparent tonight that the officials, different officiating crew, they're not going to stand for that.
Yeah, great point, Oscar. I mean, each official has got their own things they're going to call, and each group of officials, too. I mean, obviously, you know, everybody's going to call it if you get hammered when you're taking a shot. That's always a foul. But some of that clear-out stuff, some of the stuff on offense, I think is subject to change depending on the official. Brandon Gray almost traveled with the basketball. Gets over to Nick McGarry, who just checked into the game, inside to Barnett. Barnett's shot won't go, and it's rebounded by Dylan Allen, who's checked into the game, with 4 new faces for the Altavista Colonels. Chandler Pribble, one of them. He's got the basketball right now. We'll identify the other ones in just 1 second. That's Walker Allen in the corner. Now to Nelson Dews. Only guy we're missing is Josh McClure, who has the basketball now. So good ball movement. All 5 new faces touching it. Walker Allen, 3 ball up, no good. Rebounded by Pribble. Pribble falls to the ground, going after the basketball. 4 bodies on the ground now as McClure was after as well. Nelson County comes out of there with it. Brandon Gray going ahead down the right side quickly. Layup attempt. No good. Rebounded by Dylan Allen, and he's fouled. Can't control the basketball, but fouled on the backside by, it looked like number 44, Tony Barnett. 16 foul on Nelson County, so the next one will put the Colonels in the bonus. We still have 2:28 to play in the first quarter, Oscar.
Yeah, Colonels lead 11-1. It was good to see Walker take that shot. He was 2 of 3 last night from three-point land, so bright spot for the Colonels from the outside.
And Walker is one of those guys that has the ability to shoot over people, too, with his size, and that can be very dangerous from the outside. Nelson Dews, head fake, now going to the basket, puts up it wasn't a shot attempt. It was going to be a pass attempt. They may give him credit for being in the act of shooting, though, because Nelson went up. He'll trot over to the free throw line and try and sell it a little bit, and they will say he was in the act of shooting. So Nelson Dews will go to the free throw line and shoot a pair. 2:16 to play in the first quarter. 11-1 Colonel lead.
Nelson didn't see any action last night, but good to see him on the floor tonight. He brings another dimension to the Colonels. He's got speed and can penetrate off the dribble, so good to see him on the floor.
First free throw, no good. Absolutely agree with your comments about Nelson Dews. Another substitute checking in the ball game now for Nelson County is number 15, Roman Bridge. He's out there with Nick McGarry, number 24, Clarence Hughes, Najee Taylor, and number 4, Brandon Gray. The Governor's on the court right now. Free throw up and in that time for Nelson Dews, so he makes 1 of 2. 12-1, the Altavista Colonel lead. Colonels drop back in a half-court man-to-man defense. Nelson County brings it up with Gray, now over to Roman Bridge, who just checked into the game. Inside to Hughes. Altavista stifling a man-to-man defense, so just allowed the 1 free throw. 3-point attempt up and in for Nelson County, and that's number 3, Najee Taylor. He's got all 4 points for Nelson here early. 1:50 to play in the first quarter, Colonels.
Good patience by Nelson County on that. Turning the ball, moving the ball, and we're able to get an open shot.
Best offensive possession by far. Pribble has the ball on the left wing, toes on the three-point line, looking to pass. He gets it over to Nelson Dews. All the Colonels very unselfish. You don't see a lot of quick shots. Turnover there by the Altavista Colonels, taken away by Brandon Gray from the Governors. He's coming the other way, gets it in the corner to Bridge. Bridge now back to Gray. Substitutes ready to check in at the next dead ball for Altavista. It looks like might be a fresh 5. 3 ball up and way long off the backboard, rebounded by Nelson Dews. Dews will trot it ahead, breaks the timeline. Allen, another 3-point attempt. That's Walker Allen, and it's good for 3. Made some 3 balls on the football field, makes another one there. You mentioned the 2 last night, and really Walker is emerging as a 3-point threat, Oscar.
Yeah, he's got a nice stroke. It's a little bit different shot, but he's accurate with it.
Long 2-point attempt up and in for Najee Taylor. He was off balance and sort of just fired that one at the basket. Went off the back iron and in. Good shot there. 15-6 Colonels lead now.
Colonels 15, Najee 6.
One-man gang right now for Nelson County. We'll see if that changes. Walker Allen has it again. Ball fake inside. He'll use the dribble, penetrating the basket. Nice floating layup. Won't go in. It's off back iron. Rebound comes down to the Governors. 29 seconds left in the first quarter. Taylor coming ahead quickly. Now in the corner. Looks like Bridge for 3. Back iron, no good. Rebound is still loose. Controlled by Josh McClure. Nice job to get out of there with it. He had heavy contesting going on from Nelson County. 15 seconds now. Now down to 13. Nelson Dews with the basketball. Colonel's going to want to run one last play. We're down to 8 seconds. Dews penetrating. Pulls up the 3-point line. Now into Walker Allen in the corner. 3 ball, no good. Rebound is loose. Nelson County has it. Taylor, half-court attempt. No good. It wasn't a bad effort, but it was off by about a few feet. We've played 1 quarter here from Nelson, and it went by pretty quickly. The Altavista Colonels lead by 9, 15-6. Second quarter on the way when you come back on 105.5 KD Country.
In the past century, our community has grown, and Finch & Finch Funeral and Cremation Service has grown too, alongside the families they've known for so long. Finch & Finch is proud to have served you over 100 years. A family business, Finch & Finch Funeral and Cremation Service, dedicated to your service.
Finch & Finch Funeral Homes. We're here because we care.
You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
15-6, the Altavista Colonels leading the Nelson County Governors on 105.5 KD Country. Oscar, you mentioned it. It was Colonels 15, Najee Taylor for Nelson County 6. Had all 6 points for the Governors. Colonels really did a great job shutting down everybody else.
Yeah, they really did do a nice job. And good distribution scoring from the Colonels. 4 from the brothers Johnson each. 3 from Michie. Walker Allen with 3. Walker Allen with 3 as well.
Yeah, and you mentioned it. The Colonels, if they can find some consistency from long range, from three-point land, they're really going to be dangerous. They've hit 2 of them here early tonight, so I think we can probably check off that category so far anyway. Demetrius Johnson in the corner. Demichi Malbeck right in front of us. We are courtside. Ball knocked away, and we almost had some action coming our way. Man stepped out of bounds was Roman Briggs. He was the one that made the steal but couldn't control it, so it's going to go back to Altavista.
Yeah, and he did step out of bounds. He tight-roped it, and he rotated his foot, and he did step out of bounds.
Great view for us right here. Lob pass by Malbeck. Very nice inside to Darius Johnson. A good job by Johnson to go upstairs, catch the pass, and make the bucket for 2 points. 17-6. Colonels lead by 11. Taylor will bring it up, guarded closely by Navy Jones. And Jones hasn't done a bad job on the man-to-man defense on Taylor. Taylor's just made some pretty impressive shots. Bank shot in by Brandon Gray that time, so somebody else has scored for Nelson. 17-8 the Colonels lead now after the Nelson County bucket. Darius Johnson up, fouled, and the basket is good with 2 points there. He'll head to the free throw line. Nice bounce pass by Hubbard to get it to him.
Nice speed. Darius got him on his hip and was able to go up and power up for that basket. Right now, Nelson's got a little bit of a smaller lineup and they can't compete with Altavista's post players.
Free throw, front iron, no good. Not really much of an effort on the rebound there by the Altavista Colonels. They really just had one guy on the low block there going after the rebound. So score stays 19-8, 7:09 to play here in the second quarter. Ball tipped away by Navy Jones. Good job on the deflection, goes out of bounds. Nelson County will inbound right in front of the Altavista Colonel bench. They've got another sub coming in. It's going to be somebody that hasn't seen action yet. It's number 23, Kyle White. Colonels have been doing the 5-for-5 substituting a lot, Oscar. It's the starters and then the backup guys. They've done that a lot so far this year.
Well, they have, and we alluded to it earlier. Colonels playing 3 games in 4 days. It's going to be important that they get some distribution, get some of these players some rest, and get the playing time evened out.
Yes, Saturday is up at Rockbridge High School against Stuart Strath High School. Tip-off set for 3:15. It is part of a tournament, so sometimes those things can run long. But definitely give a listen to the Subway pregame show around 2:30 or 2:45. We'll be on. 19-8 in this one right now as Altavista leads Nelson County. 6:50 to play in the second quarter. Bridge puts up a jumper. No good. That was Kyle White, the man that just checked in. Shot was no good, but part of the reason is because he was fouled. It looks like the foul is on Demetrius Johnson. 5 team fouls for the Altavista Colonels now.
I couldn't tell if they called it on Demetrius or Darius.
Yeah, they were both in the area. I thought I saw him hold up the number 5. Free throw up and good for Kyle White, who is another one of those seniors on the ball club this year for Coach Brandon Garrett. Nelson Dews checking in the ball game for Navy Jones.
Well, it's fun watching this backcourt with Michie and Navy, kind of like the corners on defense. We're able to shut down people. They're a lockdown defenders on basketball as well.
Yeah, I dare say you're going to find 2 guards that are quicker than them put together. That's for sure. 2 of the quickest guys you'll ever see. Second free throw was good by White. 19-10, Altavista leads now, back to a 9-point lead. Nelson Dews tried to drive the baseline. Ball kicked away by Brandon Gray, number 4. It'll stay with the Colonels. 6:34 to play, 19-10. Altavista leading. Michie Malbeck will do the honors and inbound for the Colonels.
If you just joined us, of course, the Colonels are without Juan Thornhill tonight, who tweaked an ankle last night.
Great point, Oscar. We probably need to mention that more. Malbeck driving. Cut off. He had to put up a awkward layup attempt, and it's rebounded by Darius Johnson. Michie will get it back in the corner. Thought about the 3. Now a bounce pass it back to Demetrius. Demetrius spin move inside. Nice play right there. Got some contact, and he really ended up knocking 2 Nelson players to the ground. Strong physical move from Demetrius for 2.
Yeah, nice spin move. No rotation from Nelson's defense.
Defensive steal by Michie Malbeck, and then a great bounce pass to Nelson Dews. I don't know how he made the steal, and I don't know how he find Nelson Dews.
What an incredible pass it was.
Yeah.
And again, not to step on you, but what an incredible pass as he weaved it through those players. That was incredible.
Good stuff there from Michie Malbeck. Nelson had it knocked away when he went up for the layup attempt, so Altavista inbounds. Michie Malbeck has it on the reset. Chest pass over to Richard Hubbard. Hubbard holds it at his hip, looking over the defense. Nelson Dews trying to lob pass it down low to Darius Johnson, but he couldn't get it to him, so they back it back out. Back over to Dews. Dews, 3-point attempt from the left wing. No good. Rebound comes down to Richard Hubbard. Hubbard shovels it off to Darius Johnson. Shot won't go in. Darius was fouled. I think this one's on number 15, Roman Briggs. It's the 9th team foul for Nelson County. It's going to send Darius Johnson to the free throw line to shoot a pair for the Colonels.
Colonels lead 21-10, 5:37 remaining here in the second quarter.
First free throw, a little short, front iron, no good for Darius Johnson.
Darius has been short on a couple of those tonight. Now Richard Hubbard's come up a little lame. Nothing serious. He just a little bit of a limp, headed to the bench.
And, that makes me think of a second free throw, good. Makes me think of your previous comment. Back-to-back games, and obviously the Colonels, a lot of the football guys anyway, are still probably trying to find their basketball legs. It's still early in the season for even the non-football guys. Well, so maybe the back-to-back games does take a little bit of a toll on you physically, maybe that we didn't expect. Maybe that's why some of those free throws are coming up short. And maybe some guys need some extra breaks. There's some subs in right now for the Altavista Colonels. Oh, nice backdoor cut by Kelly Kirby. Colonels really had the foul there. Kirby was going to have a wide-open layup. I think the foul is on number 34, Nelson Dews. It is. Not that Nelson fouled him intentionally, but really wasn't in good position to play defense.
Kyle White had the ball out on the wing and did a nice job of posting, and the other Nelson player, Kirby, broke to the hoop. Back door was wide open. Nice job by Altavista getting him to the free throw line where he missed the first one.
Yep. 22-10. Altavista Colonels lead. 5:21 to play here in the second quarter. Kirby's second free throw on the way. Good form from him. Second one won't go in, though, either, and the ball gets tipped out of bounds. I believe it was off Demetrius Johnson. It's going to stay with Nelson County. So the Governors will have an extra opportunity here. 5:20 to play. On the court right now for the Colonels, Demetrius Johnson, Walker Allen, Michi Malbeck, Josh McClure, and Nelson Dews. Inside to White. White puts up the shot off the backboard and in. He'll go to the free throw line. Good play right there, taking the contact by number 23, Kyle White. Chance for a three-point play for Nelson County. 22-12 now. Colonels lead back to 10.
Kirby had a nice look from three-point land, was wide open, started to do it, penetrated, and was able to get the ball to White. White misses the free throw.
Free throw no good. Colonels do secure the rebound this time. It was number 20, Walker Allen. Michi Malbeck will bring it up for Altavista. Cross-court pass to McClure. In the corner to Nelson Dews. Dews, back iron, no good on the three. Rebound is loose. Michi Malbeck was almost able to grab it, but Roman Briggs comes down with it for Nelson County. Under 5 minutes to play now in the half. Look at White slashing to the basket. Layup attempt no good. Nice offensive move. Just couldn't finish there.
Yeah, he's got to finish that if Nelson's going to compete in this ball game.
Yep. Rebound comes down to the Colonels, but they lose it. Taken away by number 2, Nick McGarry. McGarry will bring it up himself, and he gets it to go on the layup, and he's fouled. Josh McClure hits the deck. Foul will be charged on him. And, wow, Nelson County putting together a little run here, Oscar. 22-14 now as the Colonel lead gets cut into.
Nice job by Nelson getting back in this game. Colonels led 15-6 at the end of the first quarter. If you do the old win each quarter mentality, the Colonels are losing this one 8-7. Nelson's done a good job in this quarter getting back in the ball game.
They have, and, they're really attacking the basket, whether it's been White, whether it's been Kelly Kirby, or Nick McGarry there. Free throw no good. Boy, if Nelson County could be better from the free throw line, would really have a ball game then.
That's absolutely right there. They've only made a couple from the free throw line. They've had plenty of opportunities.
We've still got a ball game now, don't get me wrong. Colonels lead 22-14, but this thing would be a lot tighter if Nelson County had knocked down some of these free throws. Almost a turnover again. The Governors got their hands on a free ball. Walker Allen, this is up and in. Nice job right there by Walker Allen. He even took a little bit of contact there on the three-point attempt. Gets it to go in, his second three-pointer of the game. Governors attacking the basket again, and they're fouled. They'll be going back to the free throw line. Foul is on. Hard to see. Yeah. I didn't see it.
I couldn't tell who he called it on.
We'll get up with Ryan Mitchell, the scorekeeper for Altavista at halftime, and get some accurate foul totals. It is number 4, Brandon Gray, on the free throw line for Nelson County. 25-14. Colonels up by 11.
18 fouls called in the game so far. 9 on each team.
Yeah, and that is a big change from last night. I think you told me maybe 4 or 5 fouls total in that second half. We've got 18 so far in this half in this ball game. Free throw was converted. by Gray. Second one on the way for Nelson County. 10-point Colonel lead, 4:11 to play here in the second quarter. Second one up, second one in, so it's a 9-point lead, 25-16. I'm sure Mike Carlero would like to see the Colonels do a better job securing the basketball and probably a better job stopping Nelson County from penetrating to the basket on the defensive side. Colonel basketball right now, though. Walker Allen has it. Now over to Hubbard. Hubbard will try a three-pointer. Back iron, no good. Great job on the box out by Nelson County. They really cleared everybody out, and Kyle White comes down with a rebound.
Well, when Richard's shooting woes continue, he's been in a pretty significant slump, but as any shooter we talked about on the ride up here, he's going to have to shoot his way out of it.
Absolutely. Gray driving the basket. That's Kirby, actually, and Kirby gets it to go from 3 feet. Nelson County really has not even tried the jump shot lately. It's all layups. It's all going to the basket and getting to the free throw line, and it's working so far. Another basket by them. Here comes Allen, another three-point attempt. This one's off the side of the iron, no good. Rebounded by Hubbard. Hubbard will take the floater. No good. This rebound's caught by Allen, and Allen sticks it back and gets it to go. Good job on the second chance points by Walker Allen and the Altavista Colonels. Leads back to 9. Nice block right there by Darius Johnson on defense, and you're going to get a foul on Altavista. No, excuse me, the foul's going to be on Nelson County. It's on number 0, Kirby.
Well, and I'm going to say something that may be a little controversial, so you may get on me, but it looks like the Colonels are a little bit flat. They don't have quite the spark, and you got to wonder if there's a little bit of a hangover from the loss from Dan River last night.
Close game last night, 1-point loss to Dan River. I think you got a great point. That's not controversial at all. But and again, let's say too, first road game too, and it's not a short road trip up here to Nelson County. Maybe the Colonels are a little sluggish, a little hungover or whatever from the bus ride. You've ridden in the car on long trips. It tends to get you a little weary and a little tired.
It does, and Walker Allen at the free throw line converts the first one, and you're starting to see a little bit more fire out of these guys as they're realizing that they got a battle on their hands, because Nelson County is bringing it to them on their end of the court.
Absolutely. Got to like the way the Governors have played here in the second quarter. Both free throws converted by Walker Allen. Good job from the free throw line there by number 20, the sophomore Allen. 3 minutes to play here in the Apple Market second quarter. Colonels lead is 11, but it feels like a closer ball game than that. White using the dribble. Now he's cut off. He gets it to Roman Briggs. Bridge now to Brandon Gray. Gray head fake, slashing the basket, kicks it back out to White. White with a head fake. He picks up his dribble. Good motion offense going here by Nelson County, but they're being harassed at every turn by the Colonel defense. And you're going to get a 5-second call. No, excuse me. You're going to get an offensive foul on number 15, Roman Bridge, by Nelson County. Player control foul, so no free throws. But I think that's 20 fouls total on both these ball clubs.
Yeah, Najee Taylor started off hot for Nelson. Had first 6 or 8 points, 6 points for him, and he's kind of cooled down. But some of the White and Gray have both stepped up for Nelson.
29-18. Colonels lead. Ball kicked away by Nelson County there. It'll stay with the Altavista Colonels. They'll inbound underneath their own scoring basket. 2:29 to play in the Apple Market second quarter. 11-point Colonel lead. Here comes the inbounds play. McClure doing the honors on the pass. Bounce passes it into Darius Johnson. Right back to McClure. McClure thought about a three. Now he travels. Good high-pressure defense from Nelson County. Well, their defensive efforts really picked up in the second quarter here, too, Oscar.
Yeah, Nick McGarry stepped into the passing lane that time, and McClure had already committed to passing the ball, and too late caused him to travel.
Good ball game here from Nelson County. Colonels coming off the 1-point loss. It is the first road trip up to Nelson. Brandon Garrett's always going to have his squad ready, too. Regardless of talent, he's going to really coach his guys up, and they are going to be dangerous anytime you play them.
We've been working together too long. That was exactly the point I was getting ready to make. Brandon Garrett's teams are always well coached.
It's getting scary. We might be finishing each other's sentences here soon. Foul on the Altavista Colonels. Looks like it's on number 12, Richard Hubbard. This is going to send Nick McGarry to the free throw line for the Altavista Colonels. Double bonus situation. Both teams are in the double bonus now. We still have 2:13 to play in the half. McGarry will shoot two.
29-18. See if McGarry can close this thing within 10.
Yep, makes the first one. Feels like it's been about a 10-point lead all night for the Altavista Colonels. But again, second quarter, really Nelson County's picked up their effort, and they've been playing a lot better. We mentioned if they could convert more from the free throw line, it'd be even closer. Missing that one there. Rebound by Darius Johnson. So it'll stay at a 10-point Colonel lead for now. Michi Malback has it on the far side from us. Colonel's going right to left scoring in this first half. Score on the basket close to us. Darius Johnson has it in the corner right in front of us. He's only about 10 feet away from us. Now gets it over to Hubbard. Looks like Nelson County's going into his own defense. Colonel's trying to dissect that defense a little bit here and rotating the basketball around the perimeter. Malback slashing to pull up from about 17 feet. No good. Darius Johnson, nice job taking the rebound away from Nelson. He doesn't have a full handle on the basketball. It's still loose, and the Governors come away with it. Jump ball tie-up. Possession arrow going to go back to Nelson County.
Nelson came out in the zone. That's the first time we've seen that out of him. Good point, Kyle. And the Colonels did a good job of rotating. Michi did a good job penetrating, getting in, but wasn't able to get the ball to go down. Richard had a couple of shots that last year I think we would have seen him taking, but a little bit hesitant tonight.
Well, you mentioned it. I mean, he has had a little bit of trouble lately from beyond the arc. And shooting runs hot and cold. I mean, you're going to have those hot streaks and those cold streaks. Nelson County driving to the basket again. They're fouled again. We'll see who this one is on. It was Brandon Gray streaking there. No, it was Kelly Kirby. 4 and 0 look pretty similar on those jerseys, Oscar. That's why I keep messing that up. And it actually was number 4, Brandon Gray. Should have went with my first instinct.
Yeah, 29-19, 127 here left in the second quarter. And they can cut this lead to 8.
Well, I think Mike Carolero wanted to use his bench anyway with 3 games in 4 days, but now the foul trouble is going to dictate that he has to use his bench.
The free throw shooting woes continue for Nelson County.
Yeah, that one no good. 10-point lead it will remain for Altavista. Gray will have his second one here in 1 second. On the court right now for the Colonels. Number 1, Michi Malback. Number 20, Walker Allen. Number 10, Darius Johnson. Number 5, Demetrius Johnson. And number 12, Richard Hubbard. Second free throw up for Gray in Nelson County. No good. Governors get the offensive board, though. Nelson County will restart the offensive set. It's back in Gray's hands. Now it's over to McGarry. McGarry guarded tightly by Richard Hubbard. Gray slashing to the middle of the basketball lane. No good. Michi Malback on the rebound. Nice job by number 1 to elevate up and get that board. Malback brings it down himself. Now he resets it over on the bounce pass to Richard Hubbard. Nelson County dropping back in the zone. Trying to slow Altavista down in half-court offense, maybe. Malback, jump stop, got it knocked away, but he was able to kind of knock it over to Walker Allen.
In this 2-3 zone that they're playing, the weak spots for the zone where you can get them attack are out top and on the sides.
Colonels have tried to go to those areas some. Ball knocked out of bounds. It'll remain with the Altavista Colonels. They say it was off Kyle White.
Coach Garrett disagrees.
Michi Malback to inbound. It looks like a 2-3 zone. I was able to see that when Altavista set up for the inbound. Malback throws it long in the backcourt to Richard Hubbard. No backcourt situation on the inbound, but Hubbard decided to try and stay in the front court anyway. Hubbard has it again in the middle of the court, right in front of the half-court circle. Bounce passes it to Demetrius at the foul line. Free throw up, no good, but it's rebounded by brother Darius, and Darius sticks it back. Good job by Darius. Right place, right time. 2 more points for the Colonels. We're under 20 seconds to play now. Nelson County not in much of a hurry. They trail by 12. McGarry going to the basket. He is cut off and fouled by Michi Malback, I believe, and this will send Nelson County to the free throw line again. 12.6 seconds left in the half.
Yeah, again, it's difficult to tell who the fouls are being called on from our vantage point, and this scoreboard situation here does not track that for you.
Free throw up, back iron, no good. Nelson County continues to struggle there.
Trailing by 12, 31-19, 12 seconds left. They've easily missed 12 free throws.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, I got to give them credit on one hand for getting there a bunch, and at least Altavista's in some foul trouble. But, boy, if they could convert, much closer ball game. Second one, no good. Rebounded by Darius Johnson. Colonels should have a good chance to score here at the end of the half. Michi Malback fakes the 3, driving now. And he is fouled. Just a small little bump there from Kyle White, but they do call it a foul. And I'll give the referees credit. They've been consistent. They've been calling those little bumps.
Yes, they have. And nice job by Michi recognizing that. Little pump fake drove to the hole. Double bonus situation.
Yep. And Michi very crafty. I mean, he could tell that Nelson County was out of position defensively, especially after his head fake. Free throw up, rattled around, hit the front iron and the back iron, and dropped in. 32-19 is the Altavista Colonel lead. 6.4 seconds left. If you're Nelson County, you got to be aware. Well, I was going to say you got to be aware of the offensive rebound, but Colonels are going to back their guys off. Michi Malbeck, the only Colonel in the lane right now for Altavista, and he's shooting.
And good decision by Coach Carlari backing off because of the foul situation.
And Michi makes the free throw anyway. 6 seconds left. Colonel's getting inbounds, Governor's getting inbounds. Gray, long three-point attempt at the buzzer, and he counts it. Oh, boy, and he gave Michi Malbeck a little bit of the business afterwards, letting him know about it. And referee didn't say anything. Michi Malbeck just going to laugh that one off. Colonels are going to try and laugh it off, too, in the locker room. They're still up by 11 after the buzzer.
Stay cool in the summer and warm in the winter. Tyree Little's Heating and Cooling, on the ready to keep you comfortable year-round. Locally owned and operated, just a call away, with over 20 years experience. Licensed and bonded, Tyree Little's Heating and Cooling, specializing in heating, air, plumbing, and electrical, any season, anytime. Tyree Little's Heating and Cooling, keeping you cool in the summer and warm in the winter. Give them a call today. Tyree Little's Heating and Cooling, Gretna.
High school athletics builds character, teaches teamwork, and provides a solid foundation for life. PCM Industrial Services recognizes the importance of high school athletics by sponsoring this sports broadcast for your enjoyment. PCM Industrial Services encourages everyone to come on out and watch the game. It's a great time for the whole family. Cheer on the Colonels. PCM Industrial Services, the industrial maintenance and construction specialists, serving the Mid-Atlantic region with quality craftsmen since 1986. Good luck, Colonels.
This week's specials from your Apple Market convenience stores. Pepsi, Mountain Dew, Dr. Pepper, 2 liters, 2 for $3. 5-hour energy drinks, now 2 for $5. Delicious chicken tender biscuits, 2 for $2.49. And be sure to try Apple Market's new roller grill products featuring Johnsonville brats. Apple Market locations, Riverside, Gateway, and Main Street in Altavista. You know what they say, an apple a day.
You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
Subway halftime show on 105.5 KD Country or at kdcountry.com. Colonels lead 33-22 over the Nelson County Governors. I'm Kyle Hoehne with my tag team partner, the Big O, Oscar Briggs, the voice of the Altavista Colonels, as he likes to be known from now on. A little bit of an inside joke there, but Oscar, interesting first half in a lot of ways. I mean, Colonels lead by 11 right now, and it feels like it's closer than that. It would almost be more than that, but Brandon Gray hits the 3 ball at the buzzer there. Slight technical difficulty there at the end, but fans at home didn't miss too much. Our crack producer, Lee Cameron, making everything sound good on that end for you. Interesting game in a lot of respects, I think.
Absolutely right. You talk about an interesting game. The Colonels jumped out at the end of the first quarter. It was 15-6, so a nice little 9-point lead. The Colonels really dominated that first quarter. At one point, it was 12-1. Nice job by Nelson getting back in the second quarter. The Colonels with 18, Nelson with 16. That big 3 was big at the end. Kept them within 11. So nice job by Nelson competing in that second quarter and getting back to a respectable 33-22 score.
Yeah, I think Coach Garrett really either made some adjustments or re-emphasized the fact to the Governors that they needed to try and attack the basket, and it really paid off. Would have paid off even more so if they could have knocked down some of those free throws, and I think that's the other big story of the game right now. Nelson County, with all due respect, pretty terrible from the free throw line, and I'm sure Brandon Garrett would be the first to admit that. The good side of that for Nelson, bad side for Altavista is they do have the Colonels in significant foul trouble. We got to believe anyway. We'll get the foul totals here in a second, but free throws were an issue for Nelson.
Yeah, Nelson hit 6 free throws, and again, my stat program doesn't have how many attempts they made. So, but they easily, 12, 15 were missed.
I'm with you.
The number of fouls that were called, double bonus was in play. Most of the early fouls were when they were going to the line. Were going to the basket. So they were shooting 2 free throws then as well. So we'll try to get those numbers for you. But nice job again by Nelson getting back in the ballgame.
Yeah, it really was. We'll take another time out here on the Subway halftime show. Subway Eat Fresh, and with 2 great locations in Altavista. You can always do that on Main Street and then also in Walmart on the Clarion Road. Subway Halftime Show returns right after this on 105.5 KD Country.
Music you know and country you love. 105.5 KD Country, WKDE, Altavista, Lynchburg. Your home for true country.
A short drive will save you money.
That's right. A short drive can save you hundreds, maybe thousands. The absolute best selection of new and pre-owned vehicles to choose from. Have a trade? When you make a deal, Fellers Chevrolet will pay it off, no matter how much you owe. Slow credit? Don't worry. Drive away today in your new or pre-owned vehicle. Remember, if you didn't purchase your vehicle from Fellers Chevrolet, you paid too much for it.
Fellers Chevrolet in Altavista.
Good food, low prices, and great service keeps customers coming back for more day after day at El Cazador Mexican Restaurant in Altavista. El Cazador is now open all afternoon, so you can buy anytime, any day. El Cazador Mexican Restaurant, a great place to unwind and relax with friends. Open 7 days a week, Main Street, Altavista. El Cazador, the happiest place in town. Thanks for your business in making them the #1 Mexican restaurant in town.
You can buy paint from any old yahoo who knows nothing about paint in one of those big box stores. For quality paint from people who really know paint, it's Davis Paints from your complete home center, English's. Davis Paints, which has been known for quality since 1921, is not just sold anywhere. Visit the new paint room at English's, your authorized Davis Paint dealer.
English's is your complete home center.
On North Main Street, Altavista.
You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
33-22, the Altavista Colonels lead on the road at Nelson County in Livingston. Well, fans heard or saw a really great basketball game last night. Colonels come up 1 point short to Dan River. It's always close when those two teams meet up, Oscar. And if it's more than 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 points, it's only because one team pulled away late there. Last night, no exception. The Colonels get a chance to return the favor heading down to Ringgold later on this year. Colonels are going to have to cram a lot of basketball games into a short time, and not just because of football, but that is a big part of it. And we mentioned 3 games in 4 days. It takes a toll on the body and probably takes a toll on the mind a little bit as well. I know myself included, you too. Our minds have probably worked better than they have right now too, but you're going to get a lot of basketball on the radio here in the next 4 or 5 weeks for the Altavista Colonels.
Run down some quick scoring totals for you. First, 33 points for the Altavista Colonels. Vici Malbec with 5. Demetrius Johnson with 6. Darius Johnson with 11. Richard Hubbard with 2. Walker Allen, nice contribution off the bench with 8 points. And Nelson Dews knocked down 1 free throw. Again, 33 points for the Altavista Colonels. Came on 9 2-point field goals, 2 long range, and then 9 free throws made. For Nelson County, pretty good distribution there as well. Kelly Kirby with 2. Nick McGarry with 3. Najah Taylor with 6. Brandon Gray with 7. Kyle White with 4. And again, that's 22 points for Nelson. 5 2-point field goals, 2 from long range, and 6 free throws. And again, we can't emphasize enough, if they'd have made their free throws, they probably had a lead.
Yeah, I think that's the big story there. Big story there maybe on the other side for the Altavista Colonels. Aside from one, Thornhill not playing, which we have mentioned a few times, tweaked the ankle last night against Dan River, and he did warm up. He's out there right now at halftime just shooting around a little bit, but you can tell he's favoring it some, so probably more precautionary than anything. Outside of that, I mean, I don't know that the Colonels have played too badly. I know they've committed more fouls than Coach Carlero would like, and I'm sure he emphasized that at halftime. You know, hey, guys, we've got to move our feet a little bit more, got to get in front a little bit more rather than playing defense with our hands so much.
Well, again, I'm going to bring up a point I brought up earlier. They've got to adjust to the style that the referees are calling. Some of the contact that was called tonight, they let them get away with last night. But, you know, after about 4 or 5 whistles, you got to adjust and understand what the refs are calling and, again, adjust accordingly.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, I think, couldn't have said it any better than that. Colonels aren't going to be able to play the same brand of defense, same physical style of play. Well, offense, too, for that matter, because there was the one offensive foul, as they did last night. So there is going to be an adjustment process. We'll take one more time out here on the Subway halftime show and come back with the start of the second half. Colonels lead by 11 on 105.5 KD Country.
Tonight's game is brought to you by the Katy Country Sports Club.
Tyree Little Heating and Cooling in Gretna, keeping you cool in the summer and warm in the winter and comfortable in between.
Sharky's Pest Control. Let Tony take a bite out of your pest control needs. Doing business the old-fashioned way.
Main Street Trading Company Consignment, now open Wednesday through Friday, 11 a.m. till 6 p.m. and Saturday, 9 a.m. till 4.
El Cerrito Mexican Restaurant, Altavista. Throw on a sombrero, shake your maracas. It's El Cerrito time. Authentic Mexican cuisine only at El Cerrito.
Steve Farmer Auto Sales, where there's always a good selection of cars, trucks, SUVs, priced right, financing available. That's Steve Farmer Auto Sales, Main Street, Altavista.
Listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
Apple Market third quarter already underway here on 105.5 KD Country. Colonels basketball, they lead by 11. 7:45 to play here in the third quarter. Richard Hubbard just holding the ball 5 feet in front of half court. Now they swing it over to Michi Malback in the far left wing. Demetrius Johnson three-point attempt up and good. Boy, the big man stepping out and knocking it down from long range, Oscar.
Yeah, nice play. I thought the Colonels were going to try to power the ball, get it back down inside, but Demetrius got it, was wide open, and knocked it down, and that'll be key if Nelson stays in that zone.
Yeah, no kidding. And, boy, when you big men can shoot the three ball, too, that's a beautiful thing on a basketball team. Layup up, no good. Highly contested by the Colonels, and they've got the rebound. Michi Malback quickly with the left hand going down the left side. Puts the layup up, gets it to go right there. Nice job by Michi. Really the one-man fast break as he grabbed the rebound and took it down very quickly. 38-22. Colonels have stretched the lead out. 5-0 run just to start the third quarter here. Under 7 minutes to play here in the Apple Market third quarter. Nelson basketball. Kirby jump stop, and he took too many steps. They'll whistle him for the travel. Nice man-to-man defense again by the Colonels, and they've got a chance to go on another long run.
Again, Colonels 6:43 remaining here in the third quarter. Colonels lead 38-22. Come out strong here at the beginning of the third quarter.
Malback doing the honors to inbound uncontested to Richard Hubbard.
Nelson's picking back up in the man again.
Nelson played man for most of the first half, man-to-man defense. Went to his zone there later on. Foul far away from the basket here. Boy, it was really just one step in front of half court as Najee Taylor just got too much of Michi Malback, so he'll get whistled for the first team foul of the half. First one on Nelson. 6:33 to play here in the third quarter. Colonels up 38-22.
I like Najee Taylor's game. He's pretty quick, handles the ball well, penetrates, can drive to the hoop, can score.
Brown and Malback going at it a little bit away from the basketball. Darius Johnson has it in the corner, swings it over to Richard Hubbard, and you're going to get a foul, and I think it is number
you
one.
You might get a flagrant.
Yeah. It was on Michi Malback. Excuse me, the foul was on Dre Brown. He committed the foul against Michi Malback.
Yeah, they're not going to call it a flagrant, but those two were going at it. There was certainly an elbow.
Yeah. Second team foul on Nelson County. Coach Carlero discussing some things with the officials. Dre Brown will come out of the basketball game. He picked up 2 quick fouls in the first half, so I'm pretty sure he has 3. 6:15 to play in the third quarter. Walker Allen in the basketball game for the Altavista Colonels. He has his hands on the basketball momentarily. Nelson County looks like they're back in the zone. Darius Johnson had it underneath the basket. 3-point attempt from Hubbard. Up, no good. Rebound loose. Can't be controlled by the Colonels, and Nelson County has it. Now Darius trying to tear it away from Nelson. Michi Malback ends up with it. Colonels basketball again. Malback driving. Right-hand layup. Won't go in. Rebound by the Governors. They control it. Highly contested down there by Darius Johnson.
The one thing we haven't seen tonight is a dunk. Way below the Colonels' dunk average.
No kidding. It seems like they're averaging about 4 or 5 on the season. Foul on the floor here is going to go against number 1, Michi Malback. So it's the Colonels' first team foul. 5:37 to play here in the third. Altavista up 38-22. Nelson County basketball is Josh McClure going to check in for the Colonels.
And anytime you see the players start getting a little physical, an elbow here or whatever, you're going to see more whistles. And the officials already wore out a couple of P's in theirs in the first half.
Yeah, there was a lot of fouls in the first half. Well over 20 for the teams combined. Gray driving, and he's cut off. Gets it to White. White packed by Darius Johnson. Tried to be saved by Demetrius Johnson. Darius with a big block right there. He just threw it straight down, and brother Demetrius tried to save it. Now another foul on the Altavista Colonels. This is going to send big number 44, Tony Barnett, to the free throw line.
One of the things that Demetrius will learn as he gets a little bit more seasoned is that anytime you're in a save situation and you're underneath the opposing team's basket, you don't want to save it back in blindly like that. You've got a mismatch automatically.
Yeah.
A 5-on-4 situation.
Right, already a 5-on-4 automatically because you're jumping out of bounds trying to save it. Nelson Dews will check in the game for Walker Allen. He joins the brothers Johnson, Darius and Demetrius, Josh McClure, and Richard Hubbard on the court right now for the Altavista Colonels.
Barnett missed the first free throw.
Second one up. Second one no good. Nice rebound secured by Darius Johnson there. He really skied up for that one. Richard Hubbard running the point guard spot now for the Altavista Colonels. Chest pass over to McClure. Right back to Richard Hubbard. Hubbard wants to facilitate things from the middle of the court. Now left wing to McClure. McClure back to Hubbard. Nelson County in the zone again, so the Colonels being very patient, passing it around the perimeter, really trying to explore all the options from both wings. Demetrius Johnson steps out middle of the court now. He'll hand it off to Richard Hubbard.
Colonels have got Nelson Dews running the baseline from side to side.
Long pass over to Nelson Dews. Dews sort of halfway, had to save it back to Richard Hubbard. No look pass over to Hubbard again. Demetrius thinking about a three-pointer, passes it up. Now Nelson Dews will shoot the three-pointer, and he won't pass it up. He'll send it in from the corner right there. Nelson Dews for three. It's good, 41-22. Just like that, at the blink of an eye, Colonels are stretching it out, almost looking like a 20-point lead. Hubbard falls down trying to play defense. Got up slow, but I think he's okay. Nelson County's got it. Barnett in off the glass. Nice job by there on the low block from Tony Barnett.
Very patient at that time for the Colonels. Ran about a minute and a half off the clock. Waited till they got the shot they wanted. Nelson knocked it down.
41-24. Colonel basketball again. Nelson County still in the zone defense. Hard pass over to Nelson Dews. Dews, Demetrius Johnson now. Johnson three ball in and out, no good. Brother Darius gets the rebound, sticks it up. That was no good. Nelson Dews has got the rebound. Dews goes up for it, no good. Rebound still loose. Darius Johnson has that one. He just gets grabbed a hold of. He can't even go up for it. That foul is going to be on number 24, Clarence Hughes, I believe, or is it on number 23, Kyle White?
It was on White, I think. That's what they're going to call that on. They're calling it on the floor.
Wow. Well, he just grabbed a hold of Darius Johnson as Darius tried to go up. So maybe Darius never left the floor, but it was certainly a shot attempt. Go ahead.
Picked up 4 offensive rebounds on that possession, just tipping the ball and trying to get it to go down. Nice job staying with it.
It really was impressive stuff. McClure, three-pointer from the left wing. Back iron, no good. This rebound's loose, controlled by Barnett. Now he loses it. Darius Johnson ends up with it. He lost the handle momentarily, and they're going to call him for a travel. He sort of did bobble that one in the air as he ran with it. Good call. 3:37 to play. Colonel's up 41-24.
Yeah, I think he saw a lane to the basket. I know what he was thinking.
Yeah, he was thinking we haven't had any dunks yet, and I want to be the first one. Nelson County coming down quickly on the other side. Brandon Gray, layup attempt, no good. Foul is going to be called against Darius Johnson, though, I believe. He's shaking his head. Good job by Gray attacking the basket for Nelson County. He'll go to the free throw line.
And I think Coach Carlo is going to run Darius out on that one. Looks like Walker Allen's up.
A bunch of guys have seen action and seen activity.
Colonels lead 41-24.
Everybody that's in uniform has played with the exception of Destin Brown and Juan Thornhill. And you know about Juan Thornhill's injury if you've been listening. If you haven't, you know now he's got an ankle injury. He did test it in warm-ups, but he has not seen action yet. Darius Johnson will come out. Walker Allen comes in. Navy Jones comes in as well. They join Nelson Dews, Richard Hubbard, and Demetrius Johnson on the court. First free throw was good by Brandon Gray. 41-25, Altavista leading. Second one on the way for Gray and Nelson County. He converts that one, 41-26. Quick inbound to Navy Jones, and Navy Jones gets it ahead quickly to Nelson Dews. Dews, three-pointer. No good. Nobody on the weak side to rebound there for Altavista. Probably a quick shot as far as Mike Cardallero is concerned. Gray, right-hand layup, won't go in, ball tipped away, and it's going to go back to Altavista there.
Well, you said that was a quick shot as far as Coach Cardallero is concerned. I watched him as that shot went up, and he was shaking his head. Nice open shot by Nelson, but there was nobody under the boards.
Yeah. Altavista came down pretty quickly. Nelson County came down even quicker, and their shot was no good, so Altavista gets it right back. 3:05 to play here in the Apple Market third quarter. Zone defense again from Nelson County. Altavista trying to pick it apart from the perimeter. Richard Hubbard, bounce pass over to Navy Jones. One more bounce pass to Demetrius. Nice no-look to Walker Allen. Allen couldn't get his shot to go, and it's rebounded by Nelson County. Governors want to go quickly. They'll have to slow things down just a bit. Left-hand dribble by Najee Taylor. Najee Taylor getting called for the carry there. Palmed that basketball a little bit, so it's a turnover going back to Altavista.
Getting a little sloppy here on both ends. 41-26 with 2:45 here remaining in the third quarter. Colonel's lead.
Navy Jones fakes the overhead pass. Now gets it over to Richard Hubbard about 15 feet away from him. Nelson Dews attacking the basket with the dribble. He'll just leave it for Demetrius Johnson in the corner. Johnson overhead pass to Richard Hubbard. Hubbard had to save it from going back court. Right-hand wing, Nelson Dews, three ball, good. Nelson Dews has tried to three a bunch, and he's hit a few tonight. 44-26, Colonel's lead. 2:15 to play here in the Apple Market third quarter.
That's the second one in this quarter for Nelson.
Dews really having a bit of a coming-out party here so far. Taylor, bounce pass over to Gray. Gray driving to the basket, cut off, layup won't go in. Nice man-to-man defense there, and help defense from Altavista as Demetrius Johnson gets the rebound on the missed shot. Navy Jones has it for the Colonels. Now over to Hubbard. Hubbard bounce pass to Demetrius. Demetrius going along the baseline. He's fouled, gets up a shot, won't go in. This foul's going to be on Tony Barnett, and it's going to send Demetrius Johnson to the free throw line with a stop and play.
Boy, the foul was on Barnett. He paid dearly for it as Demetrius was going to the hoop. Barnett fouled him, but he hit the floor pretty hard.
And Barnett's not a small guy. He's listed at 6'4", 270 on the roster for Nelson County. So, Demetrius had to be coming with some authority to knock Barnett down in that situation. Substitute checking in the game is Nick McGarry for Nelson County. Free throw was converted by Demetrius Johnson. Second one on the way. Colonels have been pretty doggone good from the free throw stripe tonight, Oscar. 1:49 to play, and the second one is up and in. That makes it 46-26.
And they continue to be good. I was getting ready to say, nice as he converts.
Normally the announcer has the jinx right there, but Demetrius Johnson too good for that, and it's a 20-point lead now for the Altavista Colonels. Nelson driving to the basket, cut off, and it's no good. That was Kirby. Kirby gets it back somehow after a little scramble for it and gets it over to Najee Taylor.
Boy, Nelson Dews was all over him that time. Absolutely shut him down.
Great man-to-man defense by Dews and the Altavista Colonels. White has it. Jumper, no good. Rebounded by Barnett. Barnett sticks it up and in. Nice job on the low post there by Barnett. Offensive rebound and points converted for Nelson County. Back to an 18-point lead for the Altavista Colonels. Richard Hubbard, three-point attempt from straight on. No good. Rebounded by Nelson Dews on the offensive side. Nelson looking inside. Now he'll just back it out to Richard Hubbard on the perimeter. We're under 1 minute to play here in the third. Walker Allen, awkward shot attempt. Sort of just threw it up half-heartedly off the glass. No good. Rebounded by Nelson County. Kirby coming down the left side of the court.
One thing we're learning about Walker Allen tonight, he has never met a shot he didn't like.
Allen likes to pull the trigger. He's converted a bunch of them. That last one was certainly not on balance. Traveling violation again on Nelson County, so it's another turnover for the Governors. Way too many of those for Brandon Garrett, I'm sure.
Colonels lead 46-28. We're under a minute with 40 seconds left here in the third quarter. And Colonels, Coach Cardallero continues to shuttle players in and out. Michi Malbeck replacing Allen.
Have not seen Darius Johnson in a while, although I feel pretty sure we'll see him again. Under 30 seconds now to play here in the third quarter. Colonels would probably like to hold for one, although I'm sure it's not a necessity for Coach Cardallero, particularly when your team's up 18 points. Now 20 seconds left to play in the third. Richard Hubbard, middle of the court, gets it over to Michi Malbeck, right side of the court. Michi was just a few feet away from the sideline there. Now we're at the 10-second mark. Here comes Hubbard, right-hand dribble, get it out to Navy Jones. Jones quickly to Nelson Dews. Dews, three-pointer from the left wing, good. Nelson Dews knocking him down from long range. 1 second left. Nelson County won't even get a shot up to head in the third quarter. big-time third quarter for the Altavista Colonels. It's a 21-point lead for them heading into the final frame of play. Quick timeout here on 105.5 KD Country.
For more than 103 years, we've offered special banking assistance to many nonprofit organizations. I'm Kathy Morgan with First National Bank, and we have a checking account just for nonprofits and faith-based organizations that has no minimum balance requirement and no monthly maintenance fee. We also specialize in offering financing when your group needs a loan. So come see us at First National Bank, and we'll provide your organization with an extraordinary customer experience. First National Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
51 years of award-winning high school sports coverage on 105.5 KD Country. Colonels up big, Oscar, 49-28. You know, we kept talking about how close of a ball game it was at halftime, and it really was. Colonels just blowing things out there in the third quarter, as they have done in recent years.
Went into halftime with an 11-point lead, outscored Nelson County 16-6 in that quarter, led by Nelson Dews with those three long shots. You got to believe that Coach Carlero wasn't real pleased with the execution of that play as it wound down. Would have liked a little bit better shot, but hey, no time for pictures in the scorebook. It was a three-pointer.
Yeah, that's right. And I think, you know, some of those three-pointers, even the ones that have gone in, maybe Coach Carlero would like to see his team pick a better shot. Who knows? 5-second count right there early as we just start the basketball game in the fourth quarter, and that's a great man-to-man defense again by the Altavista Colonels.
You bring up a valid point, but I think it's critical that as the Colonels get a little bit deeper into the season, they've got to have that outside threat. I'm glad to see Dews and some of these other players walk around and be able to knock down the three.
Yeah, absolutely right. Demetrius Johnson has even hit a three ball in this game tonight, so really multiple weapons emerging as long-range threats for the Colonels. Michi Malbeck had a three-pointer early in the game, too. 7:25 to play here in the fourth quarter. Colonel basketball after the nice defensive stop and turnover. They're up by 21, 49-28. Demetrius Johnson, free throw line jumper, no good. Colonels contesting the rebound. I think they're going to get Darius Johnson with a foul going after that one. They are.
I think that's his fourth.
I think you're absolutely right. Let's see if he stays in. It's a 21-point lead in the fourth quarter. You know, Coach Carlero may elect just to have Darius play with 4 fouls because he's going to have to play with 4 fouls at some point in a closer game.
And you're exactly right. Coach Carlero was just talking to Darius and telling him, you know, no more.
Yeah.
You've got 4.
Right. And this will be good practice when you got to have Darius down the stretch in a game that's close. Probably don't need him right now in a 21-point game. Turnover there, steal by Darius Johnson. Flashes it ahead to the brother Demetrius. Demetrius couldn't hold on to it. Pass wasn't perfect, but I like the idea from Darius.
Yeah, Darius and Demetrius tried to connect on that. Good hustle. Great shutdown defense on this end to be able to force a turnover.
Yep, back-to-back turnovers, in fact, to start this fourth quarter. Sort of a half-hearted man-to-man defense there by the Colonels on the inbounds play. Now they'll back it off and just pick up in the half-court set. 6:45 to play, Nelson County basketball. Three-point attempt on the way. It's long. It's no good. Rebound is still loose. I think that went off the Governors. It did. It'll be Altavista basketball. So 3 offensive attempts early in the fourth quarter here for Nelson. They come up empty on points all 3 times. Good stops there by the Altavista Colonels. Richard Hubbard has the ball in his hands for the road team. Holding it over his head, overhead pass to Navy Jones. Jones looking inside. He'll just hand it off to Darius Johnson. Now Johnson throws it over the top of the defense. Back to Hubbard. Ball back, 1 dribble, and then a bounce pass. Back to Richard. 6:20 to play.
I think you'll see that they're going to milk some clock here. Look for a really, really good shot. The starters won't be in much longer.
I wouldn't think so, although we've seen a lot of different combinations tonight. It originally started out as 5 starters and then 5 bench guys, 5 for 5 substitutes. After that, because of the fouls, it's been a lot of mix and match. Free throw line jumper, no good by Demetrius. Got his own rebound, and then he's fouled, going right through the middle of the lane, back to the basket. So he'll head to the free throw line for 2 foul shot attempts. Under 6 minutes to go now. 49-28. Colonels lead on 105.5 KD Country or at kdcountry.com. Thank you wherever you are if you're listening.
And no score here in the fourth quarter yet. Colonel's been very patient on the offensive side of it.
Yeah, Nelson County has stayed in that zone. We have a score now as Demetrius Johnson makes his first free throw. Nelson stayed in that zone, Oscar. And, when you're up 20-plus points like the Colonels are, if the other team's in a zone, It's not really any reason why you can't just hold the ball around the perimeter like that. I mean, if they're not going to force your hand to do anything, you've already got a 21-point lead.
That's true, and you got to wonder what Coach Garrett, if he's looking at further down the road, utilizing that defense more against some other teams. Don't know.
Right. Both free throws converted there by Altavista. They lead by 51-28. And it's not that Nelson County hasn't stretched out the zone a little bit. I mean, they forced Altavista to do some things, but Colonels really have had their luxury at passing around the perimeter there. Long jump shot on the way from Kirby. Back iron, no good. Great rebound by Darius Johnson. He'll just hand it off to Navy Jones. Jones bringing it up middle of the court. Behind the back dribble. Gets it over to Richard Hubbard. Hubbard, 3 ball from the left wing, and that one's in. We talked about Hubbard hadn't made any in a while. Makes one there, and that prompts a timeout from Brandon Garrett, the coach for Nelson County. We'll take it as well. Colonels lead 54-28. Timeout on 105.5 KD Country.
English Construction Company has been in the building business since 1932, so it's only natural that they appreciate the building process. They recognize the fact that organized sports programs build character as well as bodies and minds. They know that high school sports build our youth into more well-rounded and more productive adults. English Construction Company is proud to be a sponsor of high school sports and salute all athletes, coaches, and teachers. A word of praise and encouragement from English Construction Company with offices in Lynchburg, Virginia.
You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
Back here from Nelson County, Colonels continue to stretch out the lead, Oscar, 54-28.
And as we went to the break, what forced the timeout was a three-pointer by Richard Hubbard. And as we were talking during the timeout, that's the most confident stroke he's made in the last 2 or 3 games. Got the pass, went up strong, knew, confident, knocked it down, looked good.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And you're going to get technical foul on somebody for Altavista. I think it was on number 1, Michi Malbeck. And, he'd mentioned some other guys had been jawing at him, and there was a little bit of back and forth there. Nothing physical, though. Michi must have just said something. And they're going to have Brandon Gray shoot the foul shots for Nelson County. Nelson County was getting ready to inbound underneath their own basket. And the referee whistled the Colonels for the technical foul there. First free throw, no good.
And I think Gray and Malbeck have been the ones that have been going at it the most here tonight. Nothing, that we've seen that was, really physical.
No, I think it's been more so just maybe a running dialogue between the two. And the referees have told both of them to knock it off there. So it may not have even been that big of a deal. More so it's just the referee saying, hey, I told you guys to quit it, and you didn't, so I'm going to get one of you with a technical foul.
And once again, Nelson missed both free throws.
Right. Yeah, Nelson County continuing to struggle from the free throw line. I'm sure Coach Garrett is going to talk to his team about that after the game, and I'm sure that'll be a point of emphasis later on as well. Now you're going to get a foul away from the basketball, and this one's on Nelson County. No, excuse me, you're going to get a technical foul on Nelson County. I think it's on the Nelson County bench is what looked like the signal was. It's actually the same official that gave Michi Malbeck the technical foul. Going to give Nelson County's bench a technical foul. And when they signal towards the bench, you don't know if it's on the coach or on somebody on the sideline there or not.
Well, Brandon Garrett was up on his feet at the end of the coach's box, so you got to believe it was on Coach Garrett.
Yeah, and it's hard for us to describe on the radio sometimes. Richard Hubbard will shoot the free throws for Altavista. He makes the first one. It's hard for us to describe on the radio. It's not your usual technical foul, is it, Oscar, where, people are getting heated and there's emotions, and you can tell in somebody's face, that he said something and people are mad. Not really any of that here tonight.
No.
It's really been a pretty clean and sportsman-like type of game.
Yeah.
I think it's just some stuff being said that the officials don't like.
You had one little encounter with Dre Brown and Malbeck where Brown was throwing some elbows around, but, they were, what I'm going to say is a soft elbow.
Mm-hmm.
No malicious, just trying to keep Michi away from him.
Yeah. Turnover there by the Altavista Colonels after the made free throws. Now Nelson County turns it over. Loose ball. This is going to get knocked away. Not picture-perfect basketball there. It'll stay with Nelson County, though, after the odd possession.
Colonels lead 56-28, 4:50 remaining here in the ball game. Pribble coming in now for Darius Johnson. You're going to start to see more and more of that here in the next couple minutes.
Yeah, I think you're right. On the court right now, Chandler Pribble, Navy Jones, Demetrius Johnson, Richard Hubbard, and Nelson Dews. Three-point attempt on the way from Nelson County. No good. Long rebound comes down to Altavista. Hubbard has it. Thought he had Demetrius Johnson streaking ahead. Now they get it to Demetrius late. Demetrius backwards, up and under kind of layup. Won't go in, but he is fouled in the process. They wanted to get it to Demetrius early for the dunk attempt maybe. Hubbard couldn't quite get it to him, and he and Navy Jones are laughing about it. He said, I saw him, just couldn't make the pass. Ends up making the pass late.
And Demetrius was laughing about it as well.
Yeah.
He wanted it. He thought he could come around for the reverse.
Yeah, he wanted it early. But they get it to Demetrius nonetheless, and Demetrius gets fouled in the act. Shot didn't go in. Free throw up. It goes in. Boy, Demetrius has made at least 5 in a row from the free throw stripe. I know, possibly more than that. And he'll have a second one on the way here with 4:39 to play in the Apple Market fourth quarter. Remember, 3 great locations at Apple Market. Always something, whether you want to kickstart your weekend early or maybe the morning coffee before work. Second one up, no good, so I did jinx Altavista and Demetrius Johnson there on the free throw line, but the rebound was collected by Chandler Pribble, and Altavista will get a second chance here. Demetrius driving to the basket, but they're going to get Demetrius for an offensive foul. Maybe lowered the shoulder just a little bit. It was a quick power move there, and they get him for the offensive foul.
Well, he did, and Coach Carvalero coaching hard now, telling the kids, you know, the refs are in a quick mode right now.
Yeah.
You got to maintain your emotions. Johnson out. Destin Brown in first time tonight.
First action of the game for Mr. Brown.
Which is going to be handy if a football game breaks out.
Well, there was a lot of fouls in the first half. Long jumper for Nelson County, no good. Another rebound by Chandler Pribble. Good job on the box out and then securing it after that. 4:10 to play now in the basketball game. 57-28. It's a Colonel lead. Nelson Dews with the basketball now. Right wing just in front of the three-point line. You get it to Walker Allen. Allen, three-pointer. Sort of a line drive three-point. No good, but it's rebounded by Nelson Dews. Dews passing it back out. Hubbard has it now in the middle of the court. Bounce pass over to Walker Allen. Allen holds it over his head.
It's the other Allen.
That is Dylan Allen. You're right. Well, they certainly look alike.
Absolutely.
They're not twins. Dylan Allen is a couple years older. Look at Hubbard slashing to the basket. Now back out to Pribble. Pribble long two-pointer, and it's up and in. Chandler Pribble from the right baseline knocking it down. 59-28. Yeah, apologies to Walker Allen and Dylan Allen. And that was number 15, Dylan Allen, on the court right now. He's joined by Nelson Dews, Richard Hubbard, Destin Brown, and Chandler Pribble. Nelson County basketball. Kirby driving, and he's cut off, and it's a hand check foul.
They're going to call it an offensive foul on an illegal screen on Nelson.
You're right. It is against Nelson County. Another substitute checking in the game for the Altavista Colonels is Josh McClure. The surprising one, you know, I mess up the Allen brothers, and I always used to mess up Josh Walker and Chris Walker. I don't mess up Jake McClure and Josh McClure as nearly as much as I thought I would. And it is Josh McClure in the game now. Jake McClure is on the bench coaching for the Altavista Colonels. He was a senior on last year's state championship winning squad. We're under 3 minutes to go now in the basketball game. Destin Brown fighting for the loose ball after the errant pass. He collects it, right-hand dribble. Going to put up the jump shot. No good. He might have taken some contact. No whistle. Basketball comes down to Nelson County. Taylor driving ahead. They get it over to White. White, set shot, three-pointer won't go in. Nice rebound by Nelson Dews, secured there. Colonel's been good on the glass again, Oscar.
Yeah, they have, and nice job by all people that contributed tonight. And again, everybody has. If there's a silver lining in the fact that Juan didn't play, you got some floor time for Navy, for Nelson, for Walker.
That's a good point. Definitely a positive that the Colonels can focus on as far as that goes. Some other guys got to step in there and do their thing a little bit more. In a game that was pretty close for a while. Three-pointer no good by Dylan Allen. Rebound comes down to Nelson County, and I think Chandler Pribble going to get whistled for a foul after the rebound. 59-28. Colonels lead by 21 here. Just over 2 minutes to play. It's going to send the Governors to the free throw line. And, you know, it's January, but really as far as the Colonels are concerned, it's still early for them. So they're still trying to find some combinations and still trying to get some guys some minutes in basketball games.
Not only is it January, it's January.
Yes. Genuini at Subway. We'll talk more about that in the Subway postgame show on the way here in a few moments.
But Kyle, with 2 minutes left, 2:07 remaining here in the fourth quarter, that's the first point from Nelson in the fourth quarter.
And you talk about a defensive effort by Altavista. You hold a team pointless for about 6 minutes and change. Pretty doggone good. Second free throw, no good. Dylan Allen controls the rebound. He is hammered by big number 55. He's wearing number 25. Okay, you're right. That is number 25, Jaleel Thompson. He's listed at 6'2", 300 pounds. They've also got Terrence Morse listed at 6'2", 370. We saw him earlier in the game. Barnett's 270. So Nelson County could field a pretty good offensive line out there. They got some big guys running around. And sometimes that can be useful on the basketball court, without a doubt. It's hard to box those guys out. Free throw no good from Dylan Allen. 59-29, the lead for the Altavista Colonels. I was saying a 21-point lead. It's actually a 31-point lead, Oscar. Still early in the year for me, too.
Yeah, or 30, either one.
It's a 30-point lead now. Yeah, it was 30 earlier. Spin move from Kyle White. Can't screw that up. It was a nice spin move to the basket. He was fouled. Shot didn't go in, so he'll shoot 2.
And it's still a little chippy out here. And
yeah.
Anytime you got a lopsided win like this, that's not uncommon.
You're right. Yeah, again, early in the year for me, so I screw up the math, but let's be honest, I screw that up all the time. Number 5 checking in the game now for Nelson County. That's Brandon Martin seeing his first action of the game. Free throw good by Kyle White. 59-30 is the Colonel lead right now. 1:58 to play.
And how many points is that, Kyle?
It's 28 now because the second free throw just went in from White. 59-31. Boy, I'm never going to be able to live this down. I don't know. I was able to live down the 52-yard line comment I think one of us made at some point during the state championship game. So maybe I'll be able to live that down too. Time heals all things. Josh McClure with the basketball now for the Colonels. Turns his back to the basket momentarily and gets the pass over to Nelson Dews. Now over to Dylan Allen. Dylan, cross-court pass is picked off by Brandon Martin, but Nelson Dews will get it back for the Altavista Colonels. Minute and a half to play in the basketball game now. Colonels up big. They opened up well in the first quarter. Game got pretty tight there in the second quarter, and then they exploded in the second half here. It's really been out of reach since then. Destin Brown, basketball at the free throw line, will get it back out near half court. Nelson Dews. Now Brown has it again.
Colonels had not even trying to score, just keeping the ball moving.
Yep, zone defense from Nelson County again, so they really, like you said, just keeping it moving. McClure will attack the basket. He's cut off. He gets it over to Pribble in the corner.
He was cut off because he banged into Jaleel Thompson at 300 pounds. He bounced off of him. Thompson's a big kid.
You bump into a 300-pounder, it's usually going to stop you in your tracks. Jump shot up and in, no good from Nelson Dews. It was rebounded by Destin Brown. Destin Brown going to go to the free throw line and have a chance to score his first points of the game as he went up and was fouled.
And that brought a lot of delight from the bench, from the brothers Johnson and Michie Malbeck, all giving Destin props for rebounding, going up strong with that shot.
Free throw up from Destin. No good. Front iron off the backboard. Yeah, and that's the thing about the Colonels. They're a team. They're a solid, cohesive unit, and they really pull for each other. When a guy like Destin Brown, somebody who doesn't get a lot of minutes, gets in there and gets a chance to score, well, usually the other guys get excited for him. Free throw does go in by Destin Brown, so he converts 1 of 2. 60-31. Under 40 seconds to play now in the basketball game. Nelson County ball. It is over big number 25, Thompson. Now Kyle White has again over his head, guarded tightly by Destin Brown. Good man-to-man defense again, as usual for the Altavista Colonels. Now Thompson guarded by McClure. And they're going to whistle McClure, I believe, for the pushing foul. This should send Thompson to the free throw line. Bonus situation for Nelson County. 19 foul on the Altavista Colonels.
Thompson only a junior.
Colonels are going to run their record to 4-2. Free throw up, back iron, no good. Great rebound by Destin Brown, getting up big. We know Destin Brown is an athlete. He's not the biggest guy in the world, but he is certainly an athlete. He can run and jump with the best of them. Colonels under 15 seconds now. And I would think they're just going to try and hold the basketball. Nelson County in the zone defense. They'll come out and make McClure have to do something and pass it away to avoid the 5-second count. Under 10 seconds now, 5-4. Nelson Dews should be able to just dribble this basketball out. He does. Easy for me to say. somewhat of an easy win for the Altavista Colonels as the buzzer sounds, 60-31. They get the victory on the road at Nelson County. We're back with the Subway postgame show in just 1 second on 105.5 KD Country.
In the past century, our community has grown, and Finch & Finch Funeral and Cremation Service has grown too, alongside the families they've known for so long. Finch & Finch is proud to have served you over 100 years. A family business, Finch & Finch Funeral and Cremation Service, dedicated to your service.
Finch & Finch Funeral Homes. We're here because we care.
Stay cool in the summer and warm in the winter. Tyree Little's Heating and Cooling, on the ready to keep you comfortable year-round. Locally owned and operated, just a call away, with over 20 years experience. Licensed and bonded. Tyree Little's Heating and Cooling, specializing in heating, air, plumbing, and electrical, any season, anytime. Tyree Little's Heating and Cooling, keeping you cool in the summer and warm in the winter. Give them a call today. Tyree Little's Heating and Cooling, Gretna.
High school athletics builds character, teaches teamwork, and provides a solid foundation for life. PCM Industrial Services recognizes the importance of high school athletics by sponsoring this sports broadcast for your enjoyment. PCM Industrial Services encourages everyone to come on out and watch the game. It's a great time for the whole family. Cheer on the Colonels. PCM Industrial Services, the industrial maintenance and construction specialists, serving the Mid-Atlantic region with quality craftsmen since 1986. Good luck, Colonels.
You're listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
Subway postgame show, Genuini. Did I say that right, Oscar?
Absolutely.
Subway, pretty much everything's a $5 foot long here in January. Pretty much everything was working good for the Altavista Colonels tonight, 60-31. They get a win on the road in Nelson County. It is the Subway postgame show. I'm Kyle Hoehne with the voice of the Altavista Colonels, Oscar Briggs. And Oscar, it seemed easy there at the end. Second half was a lot easier than the first half. Second quarter particularly was good for Nelson County, but quarters 1, 3, and 4 were all Colonels.
Yeah, Colonels opened up, took a 15-6 lead at the end of the first quarter, and then nice job by Nelson staying in the ball game. 33-22 was the score at the half, but the third quarter was all Altavista, outscoring Nelson 16-6, opening up that big 21-point lead, 49-28, and then closed them out in the fourth with 11 points to 3. And you keep a team from scoring double figures in 3 of the 4 quarters, most time you're going to win.
Yeah, pretty impressive stuff there. Nelson scored 6 points in the first quarter, 6 points in the third, and then 3 in the first quarter. And that's, to me, really impressive when you get right down to it. I mean, that's great defense.
And it is great defense. And the one place that the Colonels didn't play great defense against Nelson was the free throw line. Coach Garrett, you saw some good things out of his team. I think he's got to be encouraged. The really discouraging part for them was the free throw shooting. If they hit those, it's nowhere near the devastating loss that they suffered tonight.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, I think Altavista, obviously with their talent, is going to be a handful for everybody. But it looked like Coach Garrett had a good game plan, particularly when they made some adjustments there in the second quarter. But he can't shoot the free throws for him, so I know that's something that's not going to please him. And I think on the other side, same token, Colonel's defense was very good, but probably too many fouls for Coach Carlero's liking, huh?
Well, I totally agree, and we talked about it at the half that the players didn't really adjust to the way that the refs were calling the game. And, the refs did a good job staying on top of it. They were very consistent on both sides of the ball. So, no complaints there. Some scoring totals. First for Nelson, who had a total of 31. Kelly Kirby with 3. Nick McGarry with 3. Najah Taylor with 6. Led by Brandon Gray with 9. Kyle White came in and had a strong game for them later, getting 6 points, and wrapped up with Tony Barnett with 4 for a total of 31. Boy, for the Colonels, 8 players scored. Michi Malbeck with 7. Chandler Pribble with 2. Demetrius Johnson with 14. Darius with 11. Richard Hubbard with 7. Walker Allen with 8 points. Destin Brown with a point. And nice job by Nelson Dews, who scored 10. 9 of those coming off those 3-pointers in the quarter.
Yeah. Nelson Dews really exploded there in the third quarter, and that's something worth talking about. We'll take one more time out here and talk about a bunch of stuff when we come back as far as the schedule for Saturday, this game, other games. And
players of the game?
Player of the game. We'll throw that in there, too. Bob Alvis, again, would probably revoke our Radio Broadcasters Union cards if we didn't do the player of the game. So we'll do that when we get back. Another timeout here. Subway postgame show. Colonels a winner, 60-31 on the road here at Nelson. You heard it all on 105.5 KD Country.
This week's specials from your Apple Market convenience stores. Pepsi, Mountain Dew, Dr. Pepper, 2 liters, 2 for $3. 5-hour energy drinks, now 2 for $5. Delicious chicken tender biscuits, 2 for $2.49. And be sure to try Apple Market's new roller grill products featuring Johnsonville brats. Apple Market locations, Riverside, Gateway, and Main Street in Altavista. You know what they say, an apple a day.
A short drive will save you money.
That's right. A short drive can save you hundreds, maybe thousands. The absolute best selection of new and pre-owned vehicles to choose from. Have a trade? When you make a deal, Feller Chevrolet will pay it off, no matter how much you owe. Slow credit? Don't worry. Drive away today in your new or pre-owned vehicle. Remember, if you didn't purchase your vehicle from Feller Chevrolet, you paid too much for it.
Feller Chevrolet in Altavista.
Good food, low prices, and great service keeps customers coming back for more day after day at El Cazador Mexican Restaurant in Altavista. El Cazador is now open all afternoon, so you can buy anytime, any day. El Cazador Mexican Restaurant, a great place to unwind and relax with friends. Open 7 days a week, Main Street, Altavista. El Cazador, the happiest place in town. Thanks for your business in making them the #1 Mexican restaurant in town.
Listening to award-winning coverage of the Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country.
Subway postgame show, 60-31. The Colonels get the big victory, Oscar.
Yeah, really one-sided. Nice job by Altavista tonight. Absence of Juan Thornhill. A lot of players stepped up. So, talk about Saturday now.
Let's talk about Saturday. Colonel's on the road in a tournament setting at Rockbridge County. Not really a tournament. It's not a tournament. It's a one-day thing, but it's a, I don't know, what do you call those one-day things? A showcase?
Yeah,
maybe?
showcase.
There you go.
Benefit something.
Benefit something. We'll get you some more details. Vastly underprepared, Oscar and I are, as usual, though, so it should probably shock you if we were prepared. Anyway, Colonels, we do know they're playing Stewart's Draft High School, and that game time is set for 3:15. There are some games before and after. It's one of those one-day deals, like we said. So there's a chance they could be running behind or a little bit early. I don't think they'd start much before 3, but I would say have your radio tuned to 105.5 KD Country all the time. But if you're just a basketball fan, maybe tune in around 2:30, 2:45 for the Subway pregame show. We'll be on there. And, again, the Colonels are facing, a team in Stewart's Draft that is traditionally pretty good. I believe they're a Division II team now from up around Stanton area. And it should be a good basketball game. Setting a little bit different, day game. I don't know that really affects the Colonels. I think maybe one thing worth talking about, though, third game in 4 days. And obviously the game last night probably took a lot out of the Colonels, and maybe that's part of the reason for the slow start tonight.
I think that's exactly right. I think there was a little bit of a hangover effect. Really emotional game last night. You gear up for Dan River and vice versa.
Yeah.
And to come out with a 1-point loss, have a couple opportunities at the end to win it, and defending state champions are now 4-2. So good thing. Players of the game.
I think player of the game time. You're right. We got some definite options. I'll go first, as I like to do nowadays. For Nelson County, I'm going to go with number 23, Kyle White. Came in off the bench there in the second quarter. It was a big reason they had that good second quarter as a spark. Listed at 6'2", 180, so he's got enough size to do the inside-outside thing. He was very good tonight. And we share a first name, so that didn't hurt his chances.
Yeah, well, I won't hold that against him. But I'm going to go a little bit different route. I'm going to go with Brandon Gray. He came in, led them in scoring, was a disruption, both ends of the floor. So for me, it was Brandon Gray.
On the other side for the Colonels, a lot of different guys you could choose from. A lot of guys hitting stuff from beyond the arc. Michi had a 3. Nelson Dews had the 3s. Walker Allen had a 3. Demetrius Johnson had a 3. Richard Hubbard had a 3. So a bunch of different guys bombing from beyond the arc. But I got to go with one of the guys I mentioned there, Nelson Dews. Oscar's disappointed. I stole his pick, I think.
Well, you did, but I'm going to concur.
Go ahead.
It's good that, with the absence of Juan tonight, Nelson got a little bit more playing time, and it was key with those 3 3-pointers in the third quarter when they broke away and separated themselves from Nelson. So for me, Nelson Dews against Nelson is pretty appropriate.
Absolutely. Kyle shared the first name with me. Nelson Dews sharing a first name with Nelson, and Dews really did do a great job tonight. As always, our player of the game, never any issue about this one, is our producer, Lee Cameron, back at home base. And, again, we were able to use our tie line technology, so hopefully it sounded a little bit better tonight. Maybe back on the cell phone Saturday, but don't let that stop you from tuning in. Again, Subway pregame show should start around 2:30, 2:45, somewhere in that area. And also our players of the game, the people that make it all possible, are our sponsors, people like Fellers Chevrolet. A short drive will save you money. And, of course, if you ever listen to any of the baseball or the football games on YouTube, thank Fellers Chevrolet for that. Stop by and see one of their sales people today. A short drive will really save you money at Fellers in Altavista. Other sponsors include El Cazador Mexican Restaurant, the happiest place in town. Go stop by and see Steven and those guys today. Always a great meal there at El Cazador, lunch or dinner. Englishes, your complete home center. Home for Davis Paints, Atrium Vinyl Windows as well. PCM Industrial maintenance and construction specialist since 1986. The First National Bank, focused on providing an extraordinary customer experience. Apple Market, serving you from 3 Altavista area locations, Gateway, Main Street, and Riverside. Tyree Little Heating and Cooling, keeping you cool in the summer, warm in the winter, and comfortable in between. English Construction Company, wishing our high school athletes an exciting and injury-free game. And you can't forget about Finch & Finch Funeral and Cremation Services, a family serving families since 1905. Colonels, big winner here tonight over Nelson County, wrapping things up from Lovingston. Altavista 60, Nelson County 31. We'll talk to you Saturday when the Colonels will head up to Rockbridge High School to take on Stewart's Draft. Subway pregame show around 2:30 or 2:45. In the meantime, have a great evening, everybody.
You can buy paint from any old yahoo who knows nothing about paint in one of those big box stores. For quality paint from people who really know paint, it's Davis Paints from your complete home center, English's. Davis Paints, which has been known for quality since 1921, is not just sold anywhere. Visit the new paint room at English's, your authorized Davis Paint dealer.
English's is your complete home center.
On North Main Street, Altavista. Tonight's game is brought to you by the Katy Country Sports Club.
Tyree Little Heating and Cooling in Gretna, keeping you cool in the summer and warm in the winter and comfortable in between.
Sharky's Pest Control. Let Tony take a bite out of your pest control needs. Doing business the old-fashioned way.
Main Street Trading Company Consignment, now open Wednesday through Friday, 11 a.m. till 6 p.m. and Saturday, 9 a.m. till 4.
El Cerrito Mexican Restaurant, Altavista. Throw on a sombrero, shake your maracas. It's El Cerrito time. Authentic Mexican cuisine only at El Cerrito.
Steve Farmer Auto Sales, where there's always a good selection of cars, trucks, SUVs, priced right, financing available. That's Steve Farmer Auto Sales, Main Street, Altavista.